how to do all of it.
Most people, I think a lot of people. Now, my mother's very computer efficient, but I think a lot of people. Do your parents do the computer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
well, I'm older
I really
than
think
you
you have to. If you're 75, actually, my parents are older than 75, but if you're 75 or younger, you absolutely have to. Yeah.
Your parents do the
72. Yeah. They're. I got an iPad last year, and
wow,
that was really opening up a new world for them.
Yeah. Looks like my dad would be 83 right now, so yeah, he just he didn't like the microwave.
Oh.
Yeah, he was afraid the microwave would blow up.
Oh, so all that radiation.
He wouldn't use the microwave. He was very old-fashioned.
Yeah, my mom used to say, "Stand away from that microwave. You're gonna get cancer."
I remember my dad.
I had a discussion about that just the other day. By the way, I'll bring in. Tell us about your dad.
I think my dad was the last American to use carbon paper. You remember carbon paper?
Yes.
Do you remember that? You'd have two. You'd have a piece. So if you wanted more than one copy, you'd put carbon paper between the papers, and you'd handwrite your notes, and then you'd pull the carbon paper out. You'd have like 3 or 4 or 5 copies, depending on the strength of the carbon paper.
Yes. I remember writing on pink and green and yellow and orange copies. And
yeah. It's amazing how
those were the good old days.
Well, I remember when I first started in 19 or whatever, I should say 18, a long time ago, when we didn't, as a news reporter, I had a typewriter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and what you do, actually that was carbon paper too, you'd have a piece of paper that had like 5 different copies to it. So you'd write your script, and 1 copy would go to the director, 2 copies would go to the anchor, 1 copy would go to the producer. You'd get a copy.
Wow.
So different.
Yeah, the other day my daughter looked up on the wall at a telephone jack, and she goes, "Mommy, what's that?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's wireless, printers now too,
That's
fax
true.
machines.
Well, you can get a printer for like $60 now.
Yeah.
Nobody uses them. I haven't used a printer. If I got to use a printer, I'll go to the UPS store. And,
right.
Give them $3 and get whatever copies I need.
That's cheaper than buying printer ink. That stuff's expensive.
Glad made the point the other day about the post office going away, and I think it will eventually. We just don't use paper anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't written down. I don't even think I have a pen in my house.
I think I got 10 political flyers in the mail yesterday, and these things are huge. They are not little anymore.
Yeah.
They are huge, and most of them were for the AO37 of.
My take on that, by the way, is that they don't think that it makes a bigger difference to you necessarily, but that they have a certain amount of money that they need to spend. And so rather than send the half-page cardstock, which, you can send very inexpensively, like 20 cents a piece, they're sending these.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So half-page what now?
Half-page cardstock, about 20 cents a piece.
Cardstock meaning like an index card?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's only 20 cents to send that?
Yeah, for bulk mail, and that's
that's the mail.
If you're going to send a certain percentage in each area, then you get this bulk mail rate. And
the more you send, the more you get off of it. Right.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know about you guys as consumers of information, but there are 2 things that have zero influence on my life: internet ads and junk mail. When I get my mail, I'll look, okay, do I have any bills? And then, everything else I'll just throw away. I won't even look at the junk mail. Do you guys look at junk mail?
Yeah, I looked at it for comic relief yesterday.
But
I just needed
Did you get any?
Oh yeah, there was
What was
the
the good
one
one?
AO37. It was a huge one. I mean, it was so big, and it had a picture of a fireman's hose spraying water, on
with no
one
fireman
side.
there.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And then on the other half of the page, it had a little hose with a trickle of water coming out of it.
Aww.
And it said something like, I didn't even get the point. Like, what they're gonna have less water if we don't vote to repeal this.
Typically, do you read junk mail?
I like to look. Yeah, I like mail. I like to receive mail.
Well, maybe it works then, because it does. And the internet ads. If I go to a website and I'm about to read a story and some ad puts up, I'll immediately, where's the X? Where's the X? Boom.
Yeah.
I don't ever read anything.
No, I mean email. That's another thing. I've got like 1,600 unreads on my email.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have a gigantic email list, and I think I use MailChimp, and I think they say the average email open is like, I don't remember. I'll have to look, but it's like
2%.
No. It's around 8 or 9.
Oh wow.
Now I'll get about 15 to 20%, and I've got about 8,000 people on my list. So I'll notice a difference. Like if I put a story on my website and I email out, and I go to Google Analytics and with real time, I'll see those people go on there automatically. Quickly it'll rise up. But yeah, it's still a very small percentage though. When you got 8,000 people, and it depends on the headline. Actually, some guy with an ad agency sent me an email just the other day. Said, "Hey, if you ever need a job in my ad agency, I'll hire you because every time you send out an email, your headlines are so good it makes me want to open them."
Oh, that's good
I said
news.
that to you.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's very true. The headline is one of the key things, which is why I keep hitting on all Nat Hertz's pieces, which are fantastic in the Anchorage, Alaska Dispatch News. Sorry. They're great pieces. I mean, they get to the heart of the issue. He's bringing up stuff that no reporter has ever said in a paper before, and then they give him these horrible, don't read this, whatever you do, there's nothing to see here.
Total eye roll pieces.
Total eye roll, the headline, exactly. And he probably loses 90% of the people who would read his article from start to finish if they would just give him an honest and real title. I feel terrible for the guy because they keep hurting his. He would be one of the best reporters by far we have.
I don't understand why these newspapers don't realize that if they would just expand and try to reach more people, they would get more readership. If when the Times when the Times was here, the Times of Anchorage or whatever, they had conservative and liberal views, and I'll bet the readership doubled. I mean, I bet it was double of what Alaska Dispatch has.
Well,
it was huge.
Yeah, you're talking about the Times was more open-minded.
Yes.
I wasn't here. I don't know. I can't.
I remember the conservative part
but you
of
didn't
people.
really follow things back
Well,
then.
I just remember my parents being like, "Oh no, the Times," and it was a big deal when the Times.
But the Times
left.
lost. They lost to the Daily News.
They didn't have as deep pockets as McClatchy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it boils down to,
because McClatchy was
right?
selling papers at a loss.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Times went out of business, they doubled their prices.
Right.
Yeah, it was a pretty good.
And then my parents would only buy the Dispatch or the Daily News so they could get the voice of the Times.
Yeah.
They left that in there for a while.
Then they took that out.
We're streaming live 1080KOAN.com, 1080KOAN.com. Our number 569-1080, 569-1080. Broadcasting on KOAN, KVNT. You are listening to the Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnet Show. See it?
KOAN. With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. Alaska State Police received a driver who they say rammed a patrol vehicle twice during a high-speed chase in Claiborne Drive in Wasilla early Thursday. The officer sustained minor injuries.
That's right.
Alaska Airlines is doing better financially, according to newly released figures. The carrier, along with United, American, Southwest, and JetBlue, all reported an increase in earnings. Analysts say the airlines were helped by higher fees for checked baggage and lower prices for jet fuel. Former Governor Sarah Palin reportedly hosting a campaign reception in her home for gubernatorial candidate Bill Walker. His spokesperson says while Palin supports the ticket, they do not consider it a full-on endorsement. Palin, of course, used to work with Governor Parnell when he was her lieutenant governor, but it said their relationship cooled over time. Brr, chilly. That's your Hot Talk News update. Local weather is next.
Clouds and sunshine for today. High 33. Patchy clouds, cold tonight. Low 18. Sunshine and clouds for tomorrow. High 32. Saturday night. Low 15. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 30. Monday, mostly cloudy with a bit of snow, little to no accumulation, high 36. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at SicilysPizza.com. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
In Washington, Mark Page has voted Barack Obama 97% of the time, adding trillions to the national debt, casting the deciding vote for Obamacare, and protecting Obama's executive immunity. Alaska senator who will fight back against Obama's agenda. As our Attorney General, Dan Sullivan sued to stop Obamacare and defended our Second Amendment rights. As Alaska's DNR Commissioner, Sullivan stood down Obama's EPA, unleashed new energy production, and created Alaskan jobs. Now Sullivan is running for the U.S. Senate to stop the Washington big spenders from bankrupting America. Sullivan will cut wasteful spending and support a balanced budget amendment. And Dan Sullivan is pro-life. He'll protect life while fighting to repeal Obamacare. Dan Sullivan, strong leadership for Alaska.
I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sullivan for U.S. Senate.
Trail Boss Solutions is an Alaskan-owned, nationally recognized top 500 construction and remodel firm. From our handyman services to our award-winning kitchen design and remodel, Trail Boss Solutions is fully licensed, bonded, and insured, and has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion on time and on budget. Please visit us on the web at trailboss-solutions.com or contact Trail Boss Solutions Direct at 646-1403.
When I grew up, I wanted to be a pro basketball player. In elementary school, an Olympic gymnast.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything from auto and home insurance to financial planning, education.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just set a record.
Insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream. For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Why is A&A The Shop Alaska's independent Subaru specialist? How is it they've been voted the best shop in Anchorage not once but 6 times? Well, it's pretty simple. They offer the best warranty in the business. If they work on your Subaru, you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on both parts and labor. That's unheard of. A&A The Shop deals exclusively with Subarus, and they also offer $35 oil changes. All their technicians are ASE certified. Call A&A The Shop for an appointment. 562-3919 in Anchorage and 696-2096 in Eagle River.
Here's my good friend, Keith Montronock.
Automotive repairs can be frustrating. Let me help. Call 349-1637. I have been in business for nearly 20 years at the same location. Specialty Truck and Auto is in South Anchorage behind the Long Branch Saloon. 6 ASE certified technicians working from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have a voucher for any of the 6 Alaska Laser Wash locations for each customer. If you schedule ahead and need a ride when you drop your vehicle off, I may be able to help. Call Specialty Truck and Auto, 349-1637.
Hot talk, KOAN, man. You're on with 1080KOAN.com.
Welcome, Fagan Biegel Bonnie, right here on KOAN.com. No, that's not where we are.
1080.
You know, it used to be. I'm getting old because I used to be able to do stuff. I had this great ability, and people would comment on it. I used to have this great ability to literally talk and not think. I was a multitasker. I could take calls. I could type. I could read and talk. And I mean, literally, I could do 7 or 8 things at a time. And now I could shut my brain off and just say things that I know, that I normally would say.
And everything would come out great.
Everything would come out great. Now I'm like, we're on KOAN.2 or whatever. So I actually have to think about stuff more now.
I used to think I could multitask till I started watching you guys do this and all your computer stuff and everything at the same time.
I am so a time spent, quality time guy. I get so many problems, by the way. Can I just say that?
Oh yeah,
I
haven't noticed any.
Big problems, huge problems. But I literally need massive amounts of help. But I don't like when I'm with somebody. Like, I can't stand it. Like, if I get in a dating relationship and the woman I'm dating wants to watch TV, we're together here. I can watch TV myself.
That's like the switch. You've got the role switch there going on.
I guess
it's the guy that likes to sit and watch.
Or it's like when you're eating lunch with anybody, and they get on their phone and they start texting and they say. It's like, what are you doing?
That is rude.
I'm sitting right here,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that unfortunately translates. And then, Glenn, you kind of snapped at me yesterday, and justifiably so.
Uh-oh.
I like when you guys we're all in a really good conversation, and you guys start looking at your computers and you're kind of half listening. That just absolutely drives me nuts because I want us to get engaged and really focus on what we're saying. And I'll watch. You guys are not good at this because I'll watch the video and like, if I'll say something funny and you're looking at your computer, on the video it'll be like, I'll say something funny, then 1, 2, 3. Then Glenn will laugh. Yeah, but you'll hear it 3 seconds late.
Yep.
And you do the same thing. So but that's just I got to get over that.
I don't think so. I think that you're right that you will miss things, a lot of things, if you really are not paying attention.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult for people to do because we're so distracted. We live lives of total 100%. I mean, what is Angry Birds? You've never played Angry Birds? All right, people will spend like 10 times a day. Okay, I don't have anything else to do. I'll play Angry Birds. And so they'll get on their phone and they'll start playing Angry Birds. And, I could tell you various times it'll happen. Hopefully it's in the car. Oftentimes it's in the water closet, if I may.
What's a water closet?
We'll get into that.
That's a great question.
It's an adult. Brian, are you with me on that?
Yeah.
I just want to hear your explanation.
I don't know
a closet where there is water. That
an old-fashioned name.
Sometimes you wash your hands.
Why can't you just say bathroom?
In the water closet.
Water closet? I've never heard that before. So, Bonnie, you knew.
Because it's from like 1800. Yeah.
I never. I wasn't around in the 1800s. Were you guys around it?
I read historical novels.
Oh, see that? Isn't that nice?
Anyway,
the point is.
Sometimes they have romance.
If I may, we'll get out of the water closet here and back to the point that we live lives of 100% absolute total distraction. And that's what TV is. Mm-hmm. TV is a distraction from accomplishing real things. So is Angry Birds. So is most of the games that boys play when they're young. I mean, we live lives of total distractions, and we ruin our relationships because of it, or we discount them. I mean, you think about playing Monopoly before with another person. Absolutely. And Risk and all these other games. But, there's that combat sense, but you are actually interacting with another person throughout the entire process of the game, and you learn so much from that. People will, you're sitting there typing on Facebook. You're not really interacting with another person. You can't see their face. You don't know if you've hurt their feelings. You just don't know.
It's also good for some relationships, too.
I would submit to you that we need quality, eye-to-eye contact interaction. And we cannot survive without it, even to the degree we need food. We're built that way. You put somebody on a deserted island for 10 years, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, they start talking to their tennis ball.
It was a volleyball.
Yeah, it was a volleyball?
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson.
But that we need that. It's the way we're created. You can't say, well, I'm just going to have any interaction with other human beings.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through life and just literally, you can't do that. That's not an option.
But more and more people don't have any skills interacting with anybody else. That's one of the main tests that they'll give you if they're going to hire you wherever, as a checkout person at McDonald's, wherever. They want to make sure that you know how to make eye contact, that you know how to say thank you and please, that you're congenial, that you have any person skills at all, because a lot of people are coming out of life now. They have no idea that the other person is there and needs to have a back and forth with them, and then they just don't get that. It's totally lost on them.
I remember when I got back from China once. I love China. You guys ever been to China?
No.
Not even in my dreams have I ever been to China.
Gorgeous women over there. And they will make eye contact with you. Every last one of them.
What?
They do not look away.
What are they thinking? That's crazy.
But I noticed it when I got back. And I'd go to the checkout counter, and they just don't look at you. And it started to really bother me. And I wanted to start doing this, doing the, hey, I'm right here. Why are you looking down? You see me, I'm right in front of you. It's just the culture over there. They do not make eye contact.
Wow.
Yeah. And yet in America, we just, literally, I could say, I am the Antichrist on my forehead, and 70% of the people who check you out at the grocery store would never see it.
I'm starting to pay more attention to people, though, just because I think it's a safety issue. You look somebody in the eye, they're around, you're aware, they know you're aware of everything going on around you, and it's a safety thing.
If you guys would ever follow me around, I engage everybody I meet. I don't care if it's the coffee shop, and I will start a conversation, and it throws people off because they're not used to it.
Right.
And I mean, I'll really try to get personal. How are you doing today? What's going on? Things going good for you? That kind of, well, yeah, I guess I got my grandma sick or something, But I do that everywhere I go.
Yep.
Because I just think it's something we need. I need it. I personally need that.
Right. Well, you did that to that waitress a few weeks ago, and I thought that was really interesting. You were like, hey, how long have you been working here?
Yeah. You notice how she phrased that? You did that to that waitress. Okay, this is not a mean thing that he's trying to do. he
There was no police report involved.
No. Okay, that was.
Well, I'm just saying though that we're interior people, you and I, Bonnie. And
right.
For the idea that somebody would come up and engage us in conversation, it is not something that we're comfortable with. Right. We would much rather everything just be quiet and calm, and we are all in our own
space. Leave me alone, mind your own business. No.
and it's different than that. This is the interior versus the exterior.
But she seemed very open to that. Yeah. She appreciated
people
it.
People love it. People want to be engaged with each other. Right. I will tell you the one place that I had been in my life that I found that was not welcome, New York City.
Yes.
They just
literally.
Business. Yeah. Well, why are you asking about my business?
Whoa.
I ain't telling you none of my stuff. Yeah. All right. 569-1080. 644.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
If you're ready for the movies, there's just one place to go. Check out moviesacres.com. It's showtime, movie time, previews and more. Get tickets, friends stuff, lots of information to explore. Great restaurants. Now you'll know just where to go. Before and after every show. Check out moviesacres.com. It's showtime.
My name is Billy Yelvington, and I love being a firefighter.
2 years ago, while fighting a fire, the roof collapsed while Billy was underneath.
Didn't think I was going home.
Captain Mike Hermes and engineer Kevin Woolsey made up the rest of the crew that day.
With the snow load and everything else, they figured that section of the roof was about 6,000 pounds.
Captain Hermes calls a mayday. A firefighter is down.
I says, I got to stay with Billy. And I remember he said 4 words to me. He says, go. I got this. When they finally got him out, I still had that same feeling that he's probably not going to make it.
Billy did make it. But under AO-37, firefighters' voices are silenced on staffing and equipment needs. AO-37 makes a dangerous job more dangerous.
I'm convinced one last firefighter there that day, Billy wasn't debating her.
Vote no on one to keep politics out of public safety. This message is paid for by Repeal 37 and approved by former Police Chief Walt Monaghan and former Fire Chief Craig Goodrich chairs. Top 3 contributors are APDEA, Anchorage Firefighters, and AFSCME International of Washington, D.C.
Hi, Tom Bodette. You know, mobile phones have come a long way. You can do anything now, like book a room at Motel 6 by logging on to motel6.com through your web browser. You can even pay using Google Wallet through the site. Pretty nifty stuff. Mobile phones are also great for taking selfies, but keep it clean, folks. That stuff always gets out. Or, so I've heard. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
The traffic jam. A stifling halt to your thrilling drive. But in a redesigned 2015 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, that interruption is at least tolerable. With the most luxurious interior in its class and an innovative touchpad, the all-new 2015 C-Class is as exciting to experience standing still as it is in motion. And with its improved acceleration power, your state of comfort continues, knowing you'll make it to your destination on time. To your authorized dealer and see the world differently in a C-Class from Mercedes-Benz. Lease the 2015 C300 4MATIC sedan for $439 a month for 36 months with $4,733 to its signing.
Available only to qualified customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through October 31st, 2014. Call 1-800-FR1-MERCEDES for offer details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
I'm Mark Begich, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by Alaskans for Baggage.
Who will protect your privacy rights in the U.S. Senate? Dan Sullivan worked for Condoleezza Rice, one of the architects of the surveillance state. She's in Sullivan's TV ads because he helped implement her agenda that threatens Alaskans' liberty, like extending the Patriot Act that allows the government unlimited access to your personal records. And when Sullivan was with the National Security Council, the NSA authorized warrantless wiretaps of U.S. citizens. Sullivan is bankrolled by the billionaire Koch brothers, who have been manipulating the oil markets for years, driving up gas prices. And Sullivan even opposes the Stand Your Ground law that allows you to defend yourself in your own home. Only 2 candidates oppose the Patriot Act and NSA wiretapping and support Stand Your Ground. And that's Mark Begich and Libertarian Mark Fish. True Alaskans fighting the Dan Sullivan surveillance state.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN. Online at 1080KOAN.com.
Oh, yeah. All right, 649, Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. I want to remind you that we are streaming on the worldwide interweb on 1080KOAN.com. 1080KOAN.com. And go over there if you want to hear us on the intraweb. That's the internet. Some people call it the internet. Mm-hmm. Our number 569-1080, our producer, and what's Brian? What would you call Brian? He's more than a producer. He's much more than a producer.
The soul?
The soul of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The very heart of the broadcast. He said he had
the heart. I push the buttons.
Bonnie's the smile.
She pushes buttons too.
I do.
She pushes my button.
Yeah.
She's the
That's
sunlight.
for sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
I went home and kicked my dog last night. Of course,
He bought a dog, then kicked
I know. I didn't even have one. I did go buy
Poor
one.
little Bonnie
it was-
Jr.
It was somebody else's dog.
That's right. I just had to kick something.
Well, he named it Bonnie Jr. So. No, just kidding.
So, Brian, you said during the break you have life questions.
Yeah, well, not so much life, but just some questions I was thinking of. Okay, so
By the
one
way,
is
Brian's,
Dan.
Brian's life questions brought to you today by Safeco. Safeco, America's favorite company.
I think that's actually a company.
What do they do?
Just
Yeah,
trying
I
to
was
make
thinking
it go.
Starbucks. Okay, so on the way in, this guy pulled up behind me really fast, and I always, just driving in.
Okay.
And I always go the speed limiter a little bit more, so he was going excessive speed.
Yep.
I actually pulled over and moved out of the way for him to get on the highway.
Yeah.
And then I always get up to speed and put it on cruise control.
Okay.
And so this guy ends up 3 feet in front of me,
Yep.
slowing down, going fast. I'm having to move over. I
And
can't even
you're
leave
steady.
it. Yeah, I can't leave it on cruise control and follow somebody. So I was wondering, what do you guys use cruise control when you're on the highway? And how often would you say you're, actively trying to use your cruise control?
I'm a master at cruise controlling.
Me too.
Yeah, you can
Alright.
speed up with cruise control. You get the proper number of pushes of the button in order to speed up. But I love cruise control, but I don't ever use it on the Seward Highway, like driving to work. So I think you may have some kind of a mental problem.
Well, I put it on
Wow.
70 and I just let it roll.
Wow. Yeah. Did you hear the part about you having a mental problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really strange. I don't think that's
maybe
normal.
passively aggressive against the other drivers.
Well, okay, so I put it on 73,
Oh,
and I leave
yeah.
it, and somehow in my
In
brain,
the city?
On the highway.
On the
If the speed limit's 65,
All right, I like it.
I'm gonna get a ticket the second I leave here
That's
today.
how police work.
So
He drives a black Beamer.
yeah, that has California
With a
plates.
rag top.
And so in my mind, somehow I've justified that if a cop has on radar and they see that I'm going 73, they're like, she means it. So they won't pull me over. I don't know. It's weird. Don't ask me.
What
Like,
do you mean?
I think that if they are, have their radar out and they see that I'm going 73, I'm not slowing down. That's the speed I mean to go. I'm not going to slow down for you. Give me a
Wow.
ticket if you want.
Yeah, they figure your speedometer's broken.
Like, I
Talking
meant
about
to-
in a 70
I-
mile an hour speed limit?
No, like if it's 65 and I have it on 73, somehow in my warped mind, I've got it down to where I'm like, they won't pull me over.
Well, my mom
And
worked
it
for
worked.
APD. She worked there for a long time. And,
Doing what?
She was a dispatcher.
Okay.
And she was actually married to an officer for a while. And the rule she told me when I was learning how to drive was you can go about 9 miles an hour over.
That's right.
And you're probably going to be okay. They're looking for somebody going a little faster.
And don't ever put on your brakes because then they're like, they know you were doing
They
wrong.
don't know you're hitting your brakes.
Oh yeah, they can tell. Like the dip of your they can tell. The dip of your car stopping.
I think they like the dip of your car. I think they like to know.
It shows respect or something.
Exactly.
Oh.
Don't you think that?
You can't tell the dip of your car from that distance.
I heard an officer say they do. I mean, they're masters at this. They see it all day long.
Yeah, this is their job.
Money generation.
I distinctly remember a conversation I had with my mother. We were driving down Transcontinental, which the speed limit's about 45. We're going to Don's Seafood. Just me and her in the car. And my mother's so sweet. I wish she'd come on the show. You guys would love her. She says, Danny, yes, Mom, I don't really think it's a good idea you talking about how you speed on the air. So I'm going to have to abstain from Glenn.
Yeah, I'm
Brian's
starting to
question.
think that too.
Well, it's not so much the speeding part, but the cruise control.
Yeah, well, that's
I
you don't
do
want to
love-
know.
Do you put it on 55?
You don't want to know what I put my cruise control on when I'm on the highway.
Well, do you use it? That's the question.
Look, I've never used cruise control in the city limits.
Okay.
If that's what you mean. But if I'm driving to Fairbanks, Seward, well, not Seward, because that you can't. But if I'm driving somewhere where there's a resemblance of a highway, like if I drive out to Palmer, I'll use it.
Okay.
But if I told you Canada, they're all communists, right?
Mhm.
And I think the speed limit in Canada is like 25 on the highways, literally.
Mm.
So I just said, okay, I'm going to pay whatever tickets I got to pay I'm not going to drive to Alaska at 25 miles an hour. So I'm just flying, right? If I told you what I set my cruise control at, driving to Alaska, you would be shocked. And you probably would call the police.
I've driven some of those strips of road.
Yeah.
Me too.
And it's pretty tempting. Yeah.
No, well, you have to, and there's not a car around.
I know, you can see for miles.
I've done over 120.
I'm not going to comment, but you'll see 4 bears before you see another car.
I've never been in a car that could go 120. Well, I've been in your car. Okay, I've never driven a car that could go 120.
Well, and the thing about doing cruise control in Anchorage is that you're there in like 5 seconds if you go 75.
Well, I live in Rabbit Creek, so I use it more. Probably.
So on the Seward Highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah,
still,
well, that's,
I don't know.
I mean, you're going to be there.
You agree with me that is a little.
I've never used
a little
control.
bit excessive.
I've never used cruise
You're
control.
on cruise control like on
you
Minnesota
guys,
or something.
You're the ones that are
do all the
speeding up
time.
and slowing down. Then.
No, I don't slow down.
Okay,
no,
good.
yeah, we're very consistent.
It's like as long as you maintain your speed.
Yeah,
then
no,
we're fine.
there's nobody catching me. Bro.
Yeah, don't pass me and then go slow.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
You got to get in front of me so fast, but
I
now you're gonna
have
slow
done
me
that
down.
too, though. I have pulled over for people who are tailing me. Like,
You know,
just go ahead if
let
you're
me-
in that much of a hurry.
Let me tell you how warped I was and how angry I was in my life. This is before I changed. If somebody gets on my tail, and I swear to you, I've done this a dozen times in my life. It's a surprise I'm still alive. I will slow down to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'll slow down.
And if they can't get around me, they'll honk, and they'll honk. And if they honk, I'll come to a complete stop. I've done that on the road. I have actually, especially if it's a 2-lane, if somebody's too tight to I would not do this today.
Mm-hmm.
I would not do this today. But I would literally come to a complete stop. And then they're just, and they're shooting the bird. And
You want to know the most effective correction you can give someone, by the way?
What?
They're going slow in front of you. You come up behind them. Obviously, they're going like 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour under the speed limit. You slow down to 15. You know what they'll do? Almost every time. I think I've probably done this.
They're in
front of you?
Yeah, they're in front of you. You slow down. Right? You came up behind them. You were behind them for a while. Then you slow down to like 15 miles an hour.
Oh, and they see that you're
way far,
not on
and then
their tail.
they look at the thing and they go, "Oh my gosh, I'm going like 15 miles an hour under the speed limit."
Oh.
Almost every time they'll speed up and drive like a normal person. It's the most instructive thing I've ever seen in my life.
See,
Wow,
that
I've never
kind of
tried
thing
that.
would make me pass them on a double line and then go really slow in front of them.
Okay, well, see,
Just
I
playing
that's
so
another
bad.
option,
Yeah,
but
that's payback.
what I'm telling you is I don't think people realize that they do it. Of course, the most annoying time when people this is the dumbest thing. You get to so you can get in a passing lane. You know, you're like going down to Seward or you're going to Homer or whatever, and the people will be going 55.
Yeah.
And they'll go 75 while in the passing lane.
Right.
You're not supposed to speed up.
No,
Let everybody
no.
around you, and everybody will be happy. And then when they get to the end of the passing lane,
Yeah.
they put their brakes on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they
frustrating.
should be pulled out of their car, and they should be pulled out, and they should be beaten. It's the most ridiculous thing.
Calm down, Glenn.
Oh my gosh.
You can hear the broadcast on 1080KOAN.com. 1080KOAN.com. We are streaming live there. You're listening to Fagan, Bonnie, and Biegel. 569-1080, 569-1080, 659.
In City Market have a terrific special on fresh frozen Alaska Golden King crab clusters. Just $17.99 a pound. You will love it. Golden King crab clusters, legs and claws only, just $17.99 a pound. Come and get it, New Sagai in City Market. Another great delicacy, own personal handmade pokey. Just like the very best from the islands, fresh pokey, just $9.99 a pound, New Sagai in City Market. A great special in the butcher shops at New Sagai in City Market. Butcher trimmed boneless chicken breast, perfect for the barbecue, just $3.99 a pound. And you can fill your gunny sack, sweet and tasty pomegranates. Get 2 for $6. Don't throw away the seeds or there's not much left to eat. New Sagai in Midtown, City Market.
Hot talk all day. Hot talk every day. 95.1 FM, 1080 AM. KOAN, Anchorage.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. The first nurse infected with Ebola in the U.S. has made a full recovery. Fox News Radio's Evan Brown has the update live.
Dave, nurse Nina Pham was the first of 2 nurses from Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas to be infected with Ebola virus while caring for Liberian National Thomas Eric Duncan, who died from the disease. Pham had been treated at the National Institutes of Health campus in Bethesda, Maryland. The second nurse, Amber Vinson, was declared virus-free the other day, Dave.
Evan, this all happens the day after the first case was diagnosed in New York City. Dr. Craig Spencer had been in Africa treating Ebola patients.
Thursday morning, Dr. Spencer called for help and wound up in quarantine at Bellevue Hospital. His fiancée and 2 friends have also been isolated.
Now, hours before getting a fever, the doctor rode the subway and went bowling, but Fox's Rick Leventhal outside Bellevue Hospital says
city officials insist the likelihood of anyone else in the general public being exposed to the potentially deadly disease is almost zero.
There's a hearing on Ebola at the House. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland live at the Capitol.
Dave, Homeland Security official John Roth told the House Oversight Committee the department's pandemic program needs a lot of work. An audit revealed
DHS may have too much of some equipment and too little of others.
Deborah Berger with National Nurses United told lawmakers they asked healthcare workers how they feel about the state of Ebola preparedness.
46% say there are insufficient supplies of fluid-resistant impermeable gowns in their hospital.
The new Ebola response coordinator is not at today's hearing. The Obama administration saying it's only his 3rd day on the job. Dave.
Rachel, new home sales, not much action in September. They were essentially flat, up 0.2%.
Senator Reid has
gains today. The Dow is up about 44 points. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Hey, Mom, are you coming to dance class tonight?
Daddy is. Mommy has to work.
Okay, cool.
My husband and I share everything. Cooking, cleaning, childcare. We have to. We couldn't make ends meet without 2 incomes, and that kept us worried. We knew if something happened to either one of us, the rest of the family could be in big trouble financially. But we kept putting off getting life insurance because we thought it would be too expensive. Then we found AIG Direct. We were surprised to find that through AIG Direct, a $250,000 policy is less than $14 a month. Now we're protected with AIG, and that feels good.
Helping to protect your family through AIG Direct is fast, easy, and incredibly affordable. Call AIG Direct now and get a free no-obligation quote in less than 5 minutes. Call now and you can save up to 70%. Call 1-800-521-0281. That's 1-800-521-0281. 1-800-521-0281.
Is your IT department burdened with first-line support calls about printer jams and broken printers? Are individual departments purchasing expensive printer cartridges that get buried in office supply budgets? Is your printer support strategy really a printer replacement plan? Let Alaska Enterprise Solutions show you how to reduce those high print costs. AES is a Xerox professional agency in Alaska with Xerox's worldwide support behind them. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
Paid for by More for Alaska, Anchorage.
Taking pride in work when it comes from the heart. Doing your best and staying the course even in tough times. There are Alaskans who still understand the value of service and sacrifice. Matt Moore is one of those. Someone who knows that paying your dues should come before office and power. That leadership, wielded by inexperienced and self-interested hands, can be destructive.
This is Matt Moore. Lance Pruitt is proud of his record. A record of not fully funding education, budget deficits that put our permanent fund at risk, and supporting mega projects we can't afford. My father once told me, whatever you choose to do it well. That's the way our country was, the way I'd like to see it be again, where pride in work comes from actually doing an honorable job, because that's the way it ought to be.
Matt Moore, a legislator we can be proud of.
All my life, I've enjoyed hunting and fishing, but as I got older, it made it harder to enjoy the Alaskan outdoors. Thanks to Chugash Chiropractic, I'm back on the stream enjoying Alaska.
Besides aligning the spine, we also deal with the musculature and the nervous system of the body. To do that, we not only adjust the spine, but we also balance muscles along with various therapies and deep tissue therapy. We help bring the body back to normal function.
Alaska's Energy, America's Values, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com. Mark Begich is unbelievable.
Washington thinks it knows what's best for Alaska, and that's what I'm fighting against every day.
Fighting? Begich voted for all Obama's appointments, like Sally Jewell Interior. Jewell immediately said no to exploration in Anwar and no to a King Cove road. Begich didn't fight Washington. He rolled over, like he rolled over for Obamacare. Now Begich is trying to duck and hide on Obamacare, on oil taxes, on cap and trade, on the IRS scandal, even on Anwar. How can you deliver Anwar, Mark, when Harry Reid says a Democrat-controlled Senate will never allow an Anwar vote? Alaskans can't trust a thing Begich says. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call, 569-1080. KOAN.
All right, welcome back to the Fagan Biegel Bonnie Show. We're streaming live on 1080KOAN.com. 1080KOAN.com. We're also, of course, on KVNT in the Valley, KOAN in Anchorage. Our number 569-1080. You know, we've been talking about politics so much on the show. We'll continue to as we get closer to the election. But it's a Friday. Let's go off topic a little bit.
Sometimes it's better than therapy here.
Well, you know, I was telling the folks.
Bonnie called us deep, by the way. She had
Yes.
no idea that men could be deep. Okay,
They're very deep.
This is where.
Well, this is what I was saying, and I was thinking about this last night. That's what, you know, I'm just kind of repeating my thoughts last night, but how people like Glen Biegel just piss me off to no end, and they annoy me, and I just can't stand them, because Glen has a way, something built inside of him that like I never heard Glen gossip. I never heard Glen say things. You know, Susie's sleeping with Joey, or you never get that. What comes out of the mouth of Glen Biegel reveals his heart, and it's a good heart, and he's one of these guys who walks through life making right decisions, doing the right thing. And what I was trying to explain to Glenn, this is my problem with Catholicism, is that I am so flawed, and I got so many problems. Catholicism just didn't cut it for me because it wasn't strong enough for me. I need big time help from God, because I just don't have it together.
You need the old Jewish God to come in.
Listen,
Dan, if you don't start walking straight, I'm going to punish you and put you in slavery for a few generations.
But yeah, I'm 54 years old, and I'm still working on stuff that, Glenn, I would imagine you probably never had to deal with. And I so admire people like you who have this, and I know it's a lot of it is the wife that you have. You have an amazing wife. That's a huge deal. I would imagine if I would have had a wife like yours, I'd be a very different person today. But I so admire the way that you live your life and how you know, I would more believe that Bonnie could dunk a basketball than you would cheat on your wife. I just know you wouldn't, you know, and or even, you know, anything like that. And I'm not saying that's what I deal with. You know, obviously I'm not married, but anyway, I admire that, and I don't know how you got there. I guess it would be your wife. I knew you have a lot of faith, but
well, for people who are looking to become maybe a little bit of a different person, I will tell you this: that it is the smallest step.
What is the small step?
That's where you start
with the wife.
No, it's just the smallest step. Whatever it is you want to fix, you know, whatever in your life you think, well, you know, I really would like to do this differently. And there were a lot of things in my life I wanted to do differently, so I just decided, you know, I'm going to take a step. And
Give me an example.
I took a step. Well, I wanted to be more in civic affairs, and so I took a step. I went out to a friend of mine. His name is Ed Wassel, and he said, "Come join the board of Alaska Right to Life." And from that, then I started getting involved in politics, and I got involved in the Republican Party.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way that you have this standard in which you employ when you live your life. And maybe it's your parents, the way they raise you, I don't know. But most people, when you hang around them, a lot of what comes out of their mouth is pretty, you know, it's negative, it reveals who they are, and most people don't live at the level that you live and the decisions you make.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to explain something I think people could sort of, understand, that you take a physical step rather than a spiritual step. The spiritual steps are all there too. It's the same thing. And as I thought about and worked through what my responsibility to my fellow man was, to my family, to my wife, to God, it is again, it's the smallest step. By the way, my wife is a reflection of me, and I'm a reflection of her. There's no other way to say that, and it's both people, and so.
But before you met your wife, were you very different?
I was very intellectual. I loved learning. And I was a very disciplined person. I've never liked gossip. I learned gossip was part of the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," and that was a very deep lesson for me. And it is so in this way that a person's reputation is part of them, and killing their reputation unjustly and without great cause, or explaining somebody else's failures, which is really what gossip is, that is part of that commandment. That was a great lesson for me. I didn't know that. I didn't understand that. So I don't, look, I don't know. I don't know how people go through life. I wish my life could be, I think I have a great life. Even though it's very hard, very difficult in many ways, but it's very blessed in almost every way. And I do believe that most people could have the life that I have, but it is a life of sacrifice, I think, in some ways. So, because, we don't really, I don't really care at all about material wealth. It really doesn't make any difference. I really am just here to try and take care of my kids and my fellow man, and I do what I think is right with the money that I have and the effort that I have and the time that I have.
Why? Why do you do what you think
what a good thing to do. I
mean, but what motivates you?
Why do something else? Well, we're going to be judged.
So, go ahead, Bonnie.
Not on your works.
Sure, you're judged on works and faith. My faith.
Differ.
My faith.
Well, we are judged on our works.
Yeah, if you had faith but no works, why did Mother Teresa need to go out to the world and lift up the poor?
Why do you think we're not judged on our works?
We're saved by grace.
Yeah, but that's not the question.
We can be, in some circumstances you can be, if you come to Christ or come to God really late in life, that God can accomplish anything through that. But if we have an understanding of what our responsibilities are, we're called to works. We're called to constant, continual sacrifice. It's a cross. Look, Christ says, "Pick up your cross and follow me." It's not a complicated phrase. He's not fooling you. A cross is not something you want to bear. It's not something that's easy to bear, but it's something that you can pick up and you can move from one place to another. So that's what we're called to do. We're called to nothing less than that.
Faith without works is dead. If you don't have the works.
I just don't think you're going to be judged by your works.
We have to give account for everything we've ever done.
Right.
So that's being judged. Right?
I think different people some people have a very difficult time with that one passage. So I don't want to get hung up on that. I just tell people the way I live, and I think my money, my time, my efforts, my children, my wife, my household, and everything that comes out of my mouth, I think I'll be judged on. Every one of those is a work, and frankly, I tremble in the face of that.
Yeah, well, they say, the Bible says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. So it's not something to take lightly, right?
Right.
It's not an automatic.
So it's
you don't want to talk about it. I hate that. Why do you shut down sometimes?
I don't know. There's
you
different theologies.
You turn it from a very positive to me, but the tone that you and Bonnie are having is a little more negative.
Negative.
If she wanted to bring out something that, like, what would you say to what I said, Bonnie?
I just don't think that.
Hold it, because we got to break. We'll continue this. Fagan Biegel Bonnie 714 KOAN. What is it? 1080KOAN.com. 1080KOAN.com is where we're streaming. KOAN.com. 1080KOAN.com is where we're streaming.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
Hey, it's Dr. Drew. A reminder that Loveline airs 10 to midnight and repeats midnight to 2. Twice as nice, second time around.
Twice is always as good as once.
I think that's right.
Wait, no.
Twice is better.
No, it's twice as good.
Be sure to check out the Hot Talk website, 1080KOAN.com.
It's Hot Talk KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Tune into Loveline Sunday through Thursdays beginning at 10 p.m. on Hot Talk KOAN.
I'm Bill Walker, candidate for governor. Sean Parnell declared an education session of the legislature, but ended up laying off teachers. He denied health insurance to thousands of Alaskans. He drove Alaska into deficit spending, and your energy costs are still sky high. My administration will make public education a funding priority. I'll act on the recommendation of the State Chamber of Commerce and other organizations by accepting Medicaid expansion so thousands of uninsured Alaskans can have basic health care coverage as long as it's fully federally funded. I'll bring Alaskans together to solve Parnell's budget deficit mess. I know what it will take to complete a gas line to benefit all of Alaska. And until that project comes online, I'll focus attention and resources on lowering your energy costs. We're nonpartisan. We're all Alaskans. Let's work together. Alaska first. It's time.
Paid for by Walker and Malott for Alaska.
Can a fuel make a straightaway take your breath away? Can it make a hill give you chills? Can it turn every acceleration into your exhilaration? It can if it's Shell V-Power Premium Gasoline. It removes an average of 60% of performance-robbing gunk on intake valves left by low-quality premium gasolines. And it starts with your very first tank. Choose Shell V-Power and let the excitement begin.
And learn how you can save big at the pump at fuelrewards.com.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at sicilyspizza.com. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
6 years ago, we took a chance on Mark Begich. Begich promised us he'd be an independent voice for Alaska. Instead, he's voted with Barack Obama 97% of the time for Obamacare, wasteful spending, and trillions in debt. Begich supported them all, even though they hurt Alaska. 6 years ago, Begich promised to fight for ANWR. 6 years later, ANWR is still closed to exploration, and Begich stood by as Obama's overzealous EPA hurt Alaska. Instead of taking responsibility for his failures and broken promises, Begich is running a vicious campaign with attacks called some of the most dishonest and inflammatory of the year. We gave Mark Begich a chance. He gave us a record of Obamacare, wasteful spending, and broken promises. We can't afford 6 more years of Mark Begich. Alaska needs a change. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
KOAN.
You've been thinking about difficult times, situations in your life when, you really wish you'd made a different decision. Some of these decisions cost us, by the way, thousands, tens of thousands. If you've got water or even any small amount of water that pools within your house, in your walls, in your ceiling, in your roof, the damage it'll do over time, because you never know that it's going on. If it's been 30 years, take it from me. That's all that the technology had in the past, and our winters are really hard on your roof. You've got to get it checked out. Free re-roofing estimate, Earhart Roofing, 5555. Frank, James, and Becky have got an amazing company. They're an amazing group of people. Better Business Bureau Business of the Year for 2010, which does not happen ever for a roofing company. It's just an amazing accomplishment.
569-1080. We're streaming on 1080KOAN.com. 1080KOAN.com. Our number again, 569-1080. It's Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. I don't understand, Bonnie. I don't understand why any topic would be off limits. And Glenn, you're the same opinion. I like talking about religion. Dennis Prager does it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why you guys feel like that's a taboo subject.
I don't want to be responsible for somebody wanting to follow Jesus or not. I mean, I can shine my light.
Do you talk with your friends about your faith?
Yes, in a private situation, but talking to the public, I'm not qualified to do that. And
see, that's where I disagree. And that's what holds so many.
I can be an example, and I can show joy and shine the light. But hold on, but it's for people to come up to me and say, where is that joy? I want that joy that you have. I want what you have. Show me how to get it. And then it's a private thing between the two of us or whatever.
Yeah, I understand your point. And I agree with you. The idea, my understanding, and again, none of us are theologians here. None of us are experts in this subject. But we all have opinions and beliefs. And to say I'm not going to speak what I believe because I'm not qualified, I'm not a theologian, I didn't go to seminary, that's just crazy to me.
There's just semantics that I disagree, and
right.
With Glenn, a few things with Glenn on, and I don't know enough to really defend my position,
Bonnie,
right this second on air.
You don't know enough to talk about anything. I don't know enough to talk about anything. Glenn doesn't know. We are doing an opinion show.
Right.
None of us. There's so much that all three of us don't know. People can understand that going in. So this idea that I have to be qualified to speak about my faith,
I just don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess it up for somebody else.
And that is, to me, that is the number one deterrent to people talking about what I think is the most important subject on the planet, which is our faith, because they get so uptight. Oh, I don't want to say something that would cause someone to maybe turn away from God.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to shed that.
Yeah.
I'm
working on it.
There's nothing wrong with giving an opinion about your faith. And look, you say, this is what you'll always notice whenever I talk about my faith. I don't ever come, well, the Bible says this and the Bible says that. What I'll say when I talk about my faith is, well, here's what I believe based on my understanding of what I've read in the Bible and based on my experience. This is what I believe. And I never come at it from here's what's true and here's what's not. I guarantee you there are many things that I believe about God that are not true, because I can't be the only person on the planet who everything he believes about God is true. So I don't think there's any problem, anything wrong. I agree with you guys both. If you get up here and preach and try to make people feel guilty and shame, well, if you're smoking, you're not going to heaven, that kind of crap, obviously, I would turn the station in a heartbeat. But I don't think any of us approach our faith from that judgmental standpoint. Let's see what Greg thinks. 569-1080. Greg, you're on.
Dan, I got to confess, I have to digress off the subject a bit because I just got to work and I didn't realize you're on this topic. I just wanted to wish you guys a happy United Nations Day and wonder why the heck you're working on this international holiday.
Can we get paid from a UN fund for not working today? Is that possible, Greg?
I just wanted to throw that in because I know how fond of the United Nations that Dan Fagan is.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. Great organization for doing nothing. I think they funnel money to terrorists. They put Iran on the Women's Council so that they can tell us
anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic.
Hey, but back on the topic you had, if you had a question for me on that topic, I'd be glad to answer it. Otherwise,
well, let me throw this at you because I think we have Bonnie and Glenn are talking about the idea that God expects he expects something from us. Bonnie, I think, is more grace-oriented. Glenn is more works-oriented. Where do you come down on all that?
I'm probably going to be somewhat in trouble, I guess, if you're rating on a scale of 1 to 10, somewhere like maybe Oh, 4? Of course, you weren't asking for where it was on the scale. I realized that, but that kind of gives you an idea of how I would answer the question.
4? I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not following.
So some works, but mostly grace.
In other words, if God expects me to do the things that I should do, and a 10 is at the top, maybe not. I'm not doing so well, I guess, is the point I'm making here. But specifically, what do you mean exactly? I mean, can you give me an example of?
Well, I don't want to sit here and try to interpret Bonnie and Glen's, but just as briefly as you possibly can. Can you explain where you think you differ from Bonnie?
Well, if you, so we got the 10 Commandments, we'll just keep on those. So if you're envious of your neighbor's goods, that's an action, and God calls us not to do that. If you don't love your neighbor as yourself.
But Bonnie's main point is that you're saved by grace, and grace will cover everything.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. She's getting all the way to the end of the line, and I'm more like right now today. So I guess, in a very brief, are the 10 Commandments just sort of guidelines? If you totally ignore them for your whole life,
Bonnie, you feel like that's dangerous? What he's saying.
Honestly, I have been raised as a Christian. I've been raised in a Christian household all my life, and my biblical knowledge is not where it should be, and so it makes me nervous to sit here and tell people about it, because to me, my faith is what saves me. My faith is what is my relationship between my God and myself. And so to sit here and go, well, this scripture says this,
no, that's not what we're asking.
Says that.
We're asking what you believe, because you seem to have some problems with what Glen's saying.
I believe that if we're saved by our works, then we're all going to hell.
Glenn, what would you say?
Well, I hope not.
Greg, what do you say?
Mother Teresa's probably okay, right? I mean, there's a few people who really do dedicate their lives to God.
Greg, what would you say?
I would say that we all probably could do a better job of trying to, do what God wants us to do. I don't think there's anybody that is doing as good a job as they could, probably. There might be, but I'm not one of them.
But that's why we are not saved by our works. And yes, we are supposed to do what Jesus would do and to love everybody, without judging. And that's kind of getting off on another subject. But what he did for us on the cross is what saves us.
Well, here, my thought on it.
If you accept it.
The one message that when Jesus came to earth in his 3-year ministry, as I read the Bible and as I understand it, this is just my interpretation, I could be wrong, he had one problem with one thing. It wasn't a sin. It was religion. And what religion says is, you pray an hour, well, you should pray 2. You pray 2 hours, you should pray 3. It's never enough. And that's my big problem with religion. Relationship says, I am loved, I am accepted, there's nothing I can do but receive his love. And I am compelled by his love to do what's right. It's the relationship with him, because I love him so much, that causes me not to do things I shouldn't do. Not because it's the rule. It's because I love him so much. The reason Glenn is so faithful to his wife and so faithful to his kids and works so hard for his family is because he loves them, not because it's the rules. And that's my big problem with religion versus relationship.
Can I throw something in, Dan?
What's that?
Can I throw something in?
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say the 2 things that Jesus really is important for in my life is about forgiveness.
Yep.
And about the golden rule, basically, do unto others. And those 2 things right there are critical, and all of us need probably to work on that. I can't speak for all of us. I'll speak for me. How about that? I need to work harder on that, but I'm doing better than I used to.
Yeah, well, he said, love your neighbors yourself. That's a golden rule.
Yep.
Thank you, Greg. We got other calls backing up, too. 569-1080, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, 730. 569-1080, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie, 730.
And now, the Fox News Business Report, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
From the Fox Business Network, stocks are trading mostly higher as investors look over another round of earnings. Amazon disappointed with huge losses and even more projected for next quarter. UPS and Microsoft are among the companies reporting better than expected results. And Procter & Gamble also trading higher after the consumer products giant announced plans to make its Duracell battery business a standalone company. At around 11 o'clock Eastern Time, the Dow Industrials are up 36 points. New home sales for September rose slightly to a seasonally adjusted rate of 467,000, coming in just below the estimate. Sales for August and July were revised lower. The report is weighing on shares of many home builders. And Chiquita has terminated its proposed merger with Fife's after shareholders rejected terms of a revised deal with the fruit importer. Chiquita says it now plans to start talks with two Brazilian firms that have been trying to buy the banana company since August. The deal with Fife's could have created the world's largest banana seller. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jolene Kent.
Whether your ancestors' journey began in Ireland, Italy, or even Turkey, immigration records can reveal the places and paths your ancestors followed to get here. Visit tryancestry.com to explore these records free. This week only, Monday through Sunday, October 20th through 26th. Don't wait. Free access to our immigration collection is only for a limited time. This week only, Monday through Sunday, October 20th through 26th. Visit tryancestry.com. Tryancestry.com. That's TRY Ancestry.com.
With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. Anchorage police investigating a shocking act of animal cruelty. They were looking for suspects Thursday after a pit bull named Snoop was found hanging from a tree with its throat slit. The mobile home park near the Northway Mall. Anchorage TV station, KTVA, reportedly apologizing for mistakenly airing a campaign commercial that had been pulled. That ad had sought to portray Senate candidate Dan Sullivan as soft on crime. He made reference to an elderly couple who were beaten to death last year. Well, the family did not want the ad to air. Both the candidate and incumbent Senator Mark Begich agreed not to run any commercials on the subject. The TV station said it ran the ad by mistake. Finally, little damage was reported after a moderate earthquake hit the Fairbanks area on Thursday. It had a preliminary magnitude of 5.0. Oh, a lot of shaking going on, Trevor. That's your Hot Talk News update.
Clouds and sunshine for today. High 33. Patchy clouds, cold tonight, low 18. Sunshine and clouds for tomorrow. High 32. Saturday night, low 15. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 30. Monday, mostly cloudy with a bit of snow, little to no accumulation, high 36. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
In Washington, Mark Begich has voted with Barack Obama 97% of the time, adding trillions to the national debt, casting the deciding vote for Obamacare, and protecting Obama's executive amnesty for illegal immigrants. Alaska needs a senator who will fight back against Obama's agenda. As our Attorney General, Dan Sullivan sued to stop Obamacare and defended our Second Amendment rights. As Alaska's DNR Commissioner, Sullivan stood down Obama's EPA, unleashed new energy production, and created Alaskan jobs. Now Sullivan is running for the U.S. Senate to stop the Washington big spenders from bankrupting America. Sullivan will cut wasteful spending and support a balanced budget amendment. And Dan Sullivan is pro-life. He'll protect life while fighting to repeal Obamacare. Dan Sullivan. Strong leadership for Alaska.
I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sullivan for U.S. Senate.
When I grow up, I want to be a pro basketball player. An elementary school teacher.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, Country Financial helps you and your family grow your own way.
Or maybe a veterinarian. A mom, a doctor, and president of the United States. Maybe an astronaut or, an Olympic gymnast.
You can grow your own way. We know some dreams take a little longer to achieve, which is why your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything. From auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream.
Or maybe an accountant, like my dad.
For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Do you remember that Beatles song? If the rain comes, they'll run and hide their heads. You know which one I'm talking about. Well, if that's you and you're inside your home or office, it's time to call Earhart Roofing. Call Earhart Roofing for all your roofing needs. Flat or pitched, large or small, Earhart Roofing will do the job quickly, and they'll do it right. Earhart Roofing, big enough to serve you and still small enough to care. Call 345-5555. That's 345-5555.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
Welcome back. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron right here on KOAN. KVNT in the Valley, KOAN in Anchorage. We're also streaming 1080KOAN.com. 1080KOAN.com. Mike Daniels runs Country Financial here in Alaska. There's 13 locations in the state. That's a lot. And they're very forward-thinking over there, Country Financial. The country representatives, they have the very best in wisdom and advice when it comes to planning for your financial future. It just makes common sense, doesn't it, folks? That we can't know everything. But when you have people who dedicate their lives to a certain topic, like financial planning, planning for retirement, making sure you have adequate insurance, they're obviously going to know a lot more than you and I along the lines of that topic. So why not avail yourself of their wisdom? It'll make a big difference for you when you do decide to retire. Here's their number, 866-COUNTRY. I was so mad at you yesterday I wouldn't let you spell country. Did you notice that?
I did.
866-COUNTRY, Country Financial.
It just got me.
And country is spelled
COUNTRY.
No, that's passive aggressive. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about passive aggressive. I'll punish her.
I'm going to punish her by not letting her spell country.
Get to spell country.
Darn it.
Like that's the highlight of your day. 569-1080. Todd.
Hey, good morning. You guys do realize that you're fighting over the same thing that created the Protestant church, right?
Yeah.
500 years ago.
Martin Luther, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm not, I guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure this is going to be solved, but
I think that was my point.
Yeah, God forgive me if anything I say actually lead people away from his truth, but let me try to explain it from a Lutheran perspective.
Okay.
And that is that faith creates works, as you said, Dan, because of our love and understanding for our salvation through Jesus Christ. And when you say you'll be judged, Glenn said you'll be judged by your works, I'm not sure if he means you will be that your faith will be judged or your salvation will be judged. Because if it's my salvation, then like Bonnie, there is no way I can fully please or satisfy God in my righteousness.
You can't earn your way into heaven.
Yeah, and if I think that I can, then I don't fully understand what Jesus did for me, and therefore my faith is incomplete.
I think Glenn would agree with that. You agree with that, right, Glenn?
Sure. Yeah, you can't earn your way into heaven because we all fall short.
All have fallen short of the glory. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God is the scripture that I think of.
And this is what separates, and I'm sure I'm going to upset some listeners here, but this is what separates Mormonism from Christianity and Catholicism, is that in Mormonism, it's my understanding that you have to do enough works to earn your salvation.
Mm.
And
that's why they go in the missionary. They go in the 2-year missionary deal.
Part of the whole process of spiritual growth in Mormonism. So
I didn't know that was the one of their
that's my
tenets.
understanding. Yeah. Perhaps a Mormon could call and explain it to us.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Todd.
Yeah. Have a good morning.
Glenn, you had something you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I think I've probably made people upset, but that's really
what did you say that would make people upset?
Part of my job. Well, so there's a couple stories out there. I haven't said it on the air.
Oh, okay. So you're talking future tense.
I was out commenting on various stories.
You got one on the ADN.
Yeah, well, actually, this is on KTUU and KTVA. I didn't read the one on the ADN, if there is one. Feds announced $5 million effort to bring indoor plumbing to Alaska Village.
So
we're only talking about $5 million. I mean, honestly, who wouldn't be for $5
million?
Free money. It's free money, and it's for a really good cause. And so I just go right to the heart of the matter. So this is a $50,000 subsidy for each one of the homes. And that's just to put a main in, which is, not a water line that connects to your house. It actually just goes by your house, could be a half mile away. I would guess another $50,000 more in subsidy to hook each home up to the main. So now we're up to $100,000 per structure. I would guess another $10,000 for each year for each home to maintain indoor plumbing.
And let's just let people know that subsidy means it's somebody's money.
That's right.
And the government's deciding where it's going to go.
So I say the real situation is this. Anyone who's lived in Alaska long enough and has been anywhere has put up with an outhouse. Have you ever put up with an outhouse, Dan?
No.
Have you, Bonnie?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been in Nemonic for 3-4 months and out in a fishing village. Anyway, it isn't the most comfortable situation, but it's, and I say this, and I want to see if you guys think that this is right or if it's too provocative. An outhouse is just as clean as indoor plumbing.
I remember once we flew up to Anatuvik Pass, and they took us to this literally one-room structure, the photographer and I, and there was a bucket in the corner.
Whoa.
And I said, what is that? I said, well, that's for you relieve yourself. I said, no, this is not going to work. So I went to the cop there, and I said, I'm sorry, we need to stay someplace. And he had an extra bedroom in his apartment. He let us stay there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about a honey bucket here. We are talking about an outhouse. But, yeah, I would think that the honey bucket's probably a lot less clean.
I can just totally see that.
That's funny. Anyway, so
what do you suggest? What do they do?
We just can't afford it. We can't.
I know, but what would you say to the people in the village? You just, if you want to live here,
you're no different than anybody else. I don't deserve a $150,000 subsidy or a $100,000 subsidy, and neither do you. And that's the reality of the situation.
And I'm just playing devil's advocate here for argument's sake. What would you say to people who would say, well, you have pipes running to your house that the government paid for?
That's not true.
You paid for your pipes to the sewage facility?
Of course. Look, the municipal AWWU does not. No.
Oh, okay.
People in AWWU actually, that's a city-owned utility.
So let me ask you this.
And so we all pay in order to. And
so eventually you pay.
But I'm not even hooked up to that. I have my own sewage system. So literally, I pay for my own.
Most people in Anchorage are hooked up to the system. So if the government would say to the villagers, okay, we're going to put this infrastructure in, but we're going to tax you to pay for it, you'd be okay with that?
I would. This is what I think would be the most positive thing you could possibly do. We want you to come up with, put a number on it, $1 million. Your village has to come up with $1 million in cash that you have to make yourself. You can't get it from the government. It can come from no government source. This has to be your money.
Glenn, there's no jobs out there.
No, but they do have money. I don't know where they get it.
Well, there's the native corporation.
Native corporations.
And then there's welfare.
Well, no, there are schools, so there'll be teachers. There are state jobs.
80% of people who live in the village have no source of income other than government, permanent fund, and native corporation dividends.
I don't know. Well, the government, to me, it's still a job because you're still providing a service. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as long as you didn't get it from a welfare check, this is money that you earned.
80% of the villagers.
Well, they still have to come up with $1 million. This is why, and it's the Rasmussen Foundation.
That reminds me of
that explains this to me.
This infomercial that used to run on the late night on TV. We're going to make you a millionaire if you follow my 5 steps. First step, get $1 million. Second step, I mean, it's like, what are you talking about? Get $1 million. They got no money. They got no job.
Sure they do.
Say we could move them all to Anchorage and buy them a condo.
Yeah.
We could.
No,
but
that's
they don't want to
absolutely
live
true.
in Anchorage.
Yeah, well, actually, and for the people in what's the Newtalk, who they have to move the whole village, it's actually $1 million a structure. You could buy them a $500,000 home. We'd save huge amounts of money if we moved them all to Anchorage. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying they got to be part of this solution. They got to put something up.
Streaming on 1080KOAN.com Broadcasting on KOAN, KVNT. It's 7:45. KOAN.com. Broadcasting on KOAN, KVNT. It's 7:45.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 691080 KOAN.
If you're ready for the movies, there's just one place to go. Check out moviesacre.com. It's showtime, movie times, previews, and more. Get tickets, friends, stuff. Lots of information to explore. Great restaurants. Now you'll know just where to go. Before and after every show. Check out moviesacre.com. It's showtime.
Harry Crawford looks to be...
Your time is up.
I'm Senator Kathy Giesel. It's time to set the record straight. Only in an election year would you hear someone paint a $52 million funding increase as a cut in education funding. Only in an election year would you hear that a $2 billion cut was actually a budget increase. Only in an election year would you hear someone claim they work hard to keep your energy bills low. All the while, Harry Crawford's first vote on the Chugach Electric Board was to vote himself a raise. It's reflective of a candidate who has no record of accomplishments, no ideas, and no desire to serve you. Alaskans deserve better than that. I'm Senator Kathy Giesel, and I'll continue to do the hard work necessary to improve education outcomes, keep energy costs low, and make sure generations of Alaskans will have the jobs they need. That's my no-nonsense promise to you. Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel, Anchorage.
He's defeated every champion from every organization the sport of mixed martial arts has ever seen. And now Chael Sonnen's on podcast1.com.
Hi, this is Chael Sonnen, and I've got a brand new podcast. It's called You're Welcome. I'm going to talk about the stuff that excites me, the stuff that ticks me off, and we're even going to have some very great guests. Consider this your VIP pass to enlightenment.
Download a new episode of You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen every Wednesday at podcast1.com. That's podcastone.com.
The highway, a strip of asphalt to carry you between points A and B. But in an all-new 2015 Mercedes-Benz GLA, there's no point B. Because when you're driving a GLA from Mercedes-Benz, you're not concerned with the destination, only the adventure. With off-road transmission mode and a sleek design, this SUV performs with confident style on any terrain. And no matter where your adventure takes you, the all-new GLA's sporty, expressive styling fits in, yet stands out, complementing the many sides of you. Lease the 2015 GLA 250 4MATIC for $369 a month for 36 months with $3,889 due at signing.
Available only to qualified customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through October 31st, 2014. Call 1-800-FOR-MERCEDES for offer details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
I'm Mark Begich, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by Alaskans for Begich.
Who will protect your privacy rights in the U.S. Senate? Dan Sullivan worked for Condoleezza Rice, one of the architects of the surveillance state. She's in Sullivan's TV ads because he helped implement her agenda that threatens Alaskans' liberty, like extending the Patriot Act that allows the government unlimited access to your personal records. And when Sullivan was with the National Security Council, the NSA authorized warrantless wiretaps of U.S. citizens. Sullivan is bankrolled by the billionaire Koch brothers, who have been manipulating the oil markets for years, driving up gas prices. And Sullivan even opposes the Stand Your Ground law that allows you to defend yourself in your own home. Only 2 candidates oppose the Patriot Act and NSA wiretapping and support Stand Your Ground. And that's Mark Begich and Libertarian Mark Fish. True Alaskans fighting the Dan Sullivan surveillance state.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call, 569 KOAN.
11 minutes ahead of 8 o'clock. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. Our number 569-1080. 569-1080. I will give you my quiz now on. I've had many talk show hosts, co-hosts, females through the years, and every one of them disagreed with me on this, and I just go nuts. This is like one of these things that hit my buttons.
Oh dear.
I know, but I think you're gonna pass.
Do you like light beer? Yes or no?
When you are approaching a stoplight, and there is a turn lane, and you go to the turn lane, you pull in the turn lane, and you are going to turn left onto the street that's coming up, but the stoplight in front of you is still red. Will you sit back in the turn lane, or will you pull out into the middle of the intersection so that way the instant the light turns, you can make your turn?
Yes. I'm the one who is out in the middle of the intersection. Yes.
I know the law on that.
Well, that's the correct answer.
Oh.
That's the correct.
Oh, I thought I was going to be in trouble.
If you're the first car, you're supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, you are allowed to.
Here, back when I was a mean, angry son of a bitch.
Oh.
When I was in the turning lane and there was a car in front of me, and they would not pull out into the intersection.
Oh, that's annoying.
I would honk until their eardrums burst, because that means I'm not going to get in there and get the turn.
Yeah.
Because by the time Clown Town in front of me eventually gets out there and turns, I'm not going to be able to make my turn.
Well, that's what I've always thought. If it's green, you're allowed to be out there because you're yielding to the oncoming traffic.
Every talk show co-host I've had of the female persuasion, it says, "Oh, I don't want to get out in the middle of the intersection. I might get hit." You won't get hit. You're protected. You're in the middle of the intersection. Cars, even if cars go back and forth, you're out in the middle of the intersection. They cannot hit you. But it's so scary out there. Well, you know what? It's okay. And we get these heated arguments.
Oh, my word.
So, I knew it, but I called it. I said, "Bonnie, you're probably the first female I've ever worked with that had the balls to pull out in front and get out in the middle of the intersection."
And it drives my husband crazy because he's really a safe driver.
Oh, so he doesn't like you pulling out?
I don't think he likes anything
safe.
I do when I drive.
It's safe.
It's totally safe.
He can call
And
himself a
according
safe
to Brian,
driver,
legal.
but it's not only safe, it's legal, and it's proper. So
Yeah.
he's an improper driver.
No, he's too proper. He's so good.
Well, it's
so you guys reverse roles.
It's actually bad when you
so
don't follow the
strange.
rules. You
Yes,
know?
that's right.
You know, and another thing, he wants to have these serious talks. Like, he's like, we need to talk about some issues. And I'm like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to. Everything's
what is that
fine.
supposed to mean
Everything's
from a man?
good.
Look, we got to talk about some issues. I need football. Okay, I need 3 hours of it, and it has to be on Sunday morning. What do you think?
No, I don't
That's
want to talk.
not what he wants to talk about?
I don't want to talk.
Lucky Charms? He's not into the Lucky Charms conversation?
If we were going to talk about Lucky Charms, I could talk about
You'd
Lucky
be okay
Charms.
with that?
Yes. That's one of my favorite topics.
While sorting out the marshmallows.
I be 2 times in my entire married life has said we have to have a serious conversation. That is not a good sign. Does he do this often?
No. It's just
Is it 2 times in your entire married life? Oh, okay.
Probably, but
all right.
I don't want to talk at all. Let's just be happy and act like everything's fine and dandy.
Good.
I love the silent treatment. I love employing the silent treatment.
Oh.
It's such
Yeah.
a oasis, such a sanctuary.
Yeah, you're passive aggressive that way.
Well, the thing about it is that you feel sorry for yourself, which is fun.
But you feel in control.
There's a lot of self. That's always fun.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, but the problem is, like if I am in a relationship, eventually the guy will figure out what I'm doing, and then it's not effective anymore. So then you got to get more aggressive. Do you want something to drink? Yeah, you care. That kind of stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Right, but then you
awesome.
start realizing, okay, I'm just being an ass here. This is,
Yeah, the silent treatment. Does it ever work for you?
I tried it yesterday. Trouble is, I get so mad at Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to talk anymore. Like yesterday at the end of the show, I turned off my computer. I unplugged my camera. I didn't want to be a part of the show, but I thought, well, I've already walked out on my own show once. I probably shouldn't do that again. And so I just sat here and just pouted, and I basically just read. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I did a little.
But I just basically read for like 15 minutes because I didn't want to talk, but someone's got to talk. And so it's very difficult to employ the silent treatment when you host a talk show.
So why doesn't Glenn make you that mad?
I don't know.
Why is it me? I'm just still memeing here.
And how come you can read while they're talking?
Right. You do it too.
I do what?
No,
Read
what
while
he's
we're
saying
talking.
is he was reading stuff on the air.
No, I was reading. I was literally not.
He wasn't processing it.
Talking.
Please rank the following intervention strategies for preventing and ending homelessness.
Yeah, it's
Basically,
very
he was
different.
doing that.
It's very different to. When I said read, Brian, I meant read out loud.
Oh yeah.
It's very different to read out loud than to actually make a point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because normally when I talk, I try to speak from my heart, and I'm trying to like pour my heart into what I'm saying. I very rarely, just kind of small talk it, and so the way I can shut myself down is I'll just read what's on my computer.
I feel so powerful that I can.
Yeah, no, you
do
totally
this.
manipulate, or you totally push my buttons.
Mm-hmm. Dan's like one big button.
I can't wait till my sister comes up here and you two get together.
Oh,
My
that'd be
sister
fun.
and I love her to death. She's one of my best friends in the world, but we had such a tumultuous relationship.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like
over
it'll be
what?
2 against 1.
Yeah. Over everything.
Yeah, just sibling rivalry, or
She's very stubborn like me. We're identical.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, my sister Diane
it'd be a
is just
disaster.
Wow. My sister Diane is a kind of a man pleaser, people pleaser, would never confront. And my sister and I, one time my sister and I were out getting frozen yogurt, and some guy pulls up in a convertible, and he puts his dog in the trunk. Yeah.
Like the
trunk.
Wow.
My sister went ballistic on this guy. And he's looking at me. 'Cause, he's not going to beat her up.
What was he going to beat
She just
you up?
went. No. My sister put. Did you hear the part about the dog in the trunk?
Yeah. But I mean, what did he? So he was confronting you at that point because he didn't want to confront your
Was
sister.
he like control your woman?
Was the dog alive?
Yeah, but he was going to go in for his yogurt. He had a convertible. He didn't want to leave the dog in the convertible, so he put it in the trunk.
Huh.
And my sister, who's a major dog lover, went nuts on the guy. So, would you like to be in a trunk? Would you put your kid in a trunk? I mean, she just totally is.
Wow.
She'll confront anywhere, anytime, any place.
Wow.
And so that's who she is.
And he was really trying to do the best thing so the dog wouldn't run away.
By the way, what is the right thing to
disagree.
do?
You don't put a dog in a trunk.
Even for a couple of minutes?
Would you put a dog in a kennel?
A kennel, yes. But a trunk, first of all, it's New Orleans.
Roomier.
It's hot.
Oh, that's true.
You don't put
we
a
don't
dog
really
in a
get
trunk.
this, I think.
Would you put one of your kids in a trunk? In your trunk?
Yeah, I guess.
It depends on if they're alive.
It depends if
I
they're
guess
alive.
so.
See, in the Fagan household.
Which one?
If it's the best, if they're like battling and fighting, and like, that's it, trunk for you. Get in there.
In the Fagan household, dogs are people. We treat dogs like people. So
I don't know. I would put Daisy in the trunk, I guess. If
Yeah, but like you said,
that
it's
was
in
the
New
best thing I
Orleans.
could
It's like
do.
hot and humid.
No, there's
and...
no excuse for ever putting a dog in a trunk.
Wow.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, see, you guys are inhumane. You're obviously animal haters.
I don't know. I love Daisy.
What about the
Daisy's
back of a
wonderful.
truck?
Just do me a favor.
Oh, the back of a truck. Good question. Good
A
question.
pickup truck that's open?
Yeah.
What if it has a cover over the top?
Oh.
That's like, the pickup truck's trunk.
By the way, when my sister comes up this summer, don't mention any of this to her, because if you guys say, yeah, I'd put a dog in a trunk, you're going to get an earful from me.
I think I could debate that.
Huh.
569
Dogs in
1080
trunks. That's wild.
7:58. It's Friday, the 24th. We're streaming on 1080 KOAN. We also have a KOAN app. Go to your app store and type in 1080 KOAN and it'll pop up. Stay with us. 1080 KOAN and it'll pop up. Stay with us.
My name is Billy Yelvington, and I love being a firefighter.
2 years ago, while fighting a fire, the roof collapsed while Billy was underneath.
Didn't think I was going home.
Captain Mike Hermes and engineer Kevin Woolsey made up the rest of the crew that day.
With the snow load and everything else, they figured that section of the roof was about 6,000 pounds.
Captain Hermes calls a mayday. A firefighter is down.
I says, I got to stay with Billy. And I remember he said 4 words to me. He says, go. I got this. When they finally got him out, I still had that same feeling that he's probably not going to make it.
Billy did make it. But under AO-37, firefighters' voices are silenced on staffing and equipment needs. AO-37 makes a dangerous job more dangerous.
I'm convinced one less firefighter there that day, Billy wouldn't have been here.
Vote no on 1 to keep politics out of public safety.
This message is paid for by Repeal 37 and approved by former Police Chief Walt Monaghan and former Fire Chief Craig Goodrich chairs. Top 3 contributors are APDEA, Anchorage Firefighters, and AFSCME International of Washington, D.C.
You're listening to Hot Talk, KOAN Anchorage, AM 1080, and retranslated on 95.1 FM on K236CG Anchorage.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. She's fully recovered. The first nurse infected with Ebola in Dallas. And Nina Pham was cheered minutes ago outside the facility where she's been treated, and she's thanking everyone for their care. Fox News Radio's Evan Brown has more live.
Dave, the physicians at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, say Dallas nurse Nina Pham is now Ebola-free and will be discharged from their facility. She came outside to talk with reporters, standing on her own and well-dressed. The press conference is still going on. Pham and nurse Amber Vinson both became infected with Ebola while caring for Thomas Duncan, a Texas Health Presbyterian in Dallas. Duncan died from his infection. Vinson was announced to have recovered already. Their cases sparked review and upgrading of protocols of healthcare workers tending to Ebola patients in the U.S., Dave.
Evan, a doctor in New York, is just starting his treatment. The first diagnosed case in the city, Dr. Greg Spencer, got a fever yesterday, about a week after returning from Africa, where he had been treating Ebola patients. He did ride the subway and went bowling the night before his symptoms, but Governor Andrew Cuomo says no one should be alarmed.
The disease does not spread that easily. It's not like the flu. It's not like a common virus.
Now, this is also his fiancée and 2 close friends are being quarantined in case in New York. This New Orleans ISIS terrorists have gotten their hands on chemical weapons in Iraq. Officials say they used chlorine gas while fighting Iraqi security forces last month. Another high school football team has had its season canceled and all the coaches suspended, this time in suburban Philadelphia over allegations of players hazing other players.
I had no idea that was going on. I see all these, they're in my classes, and I don't really know how to react.
Now, tonight was supposed to be the homecoming game for Central Bucks High School. This is weeks after Sayreville, New Jersey shut its football team down over hazing, and some of those players face criminal charges. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Hey, Mom, are you coming to dance class tonight?
Daddy is. Mommy has to work.
Okay, cool.
My husband and I share everything. Cooking, cleaning, childcare. We have to. We couldn't make ends meet without 2 incomes, and that kept us worried. We knew if something happened to either one of us, the rest of the family could be in big trouble financially. But we kept putting off getting life insurance because we thought it would be too expensive. Then we found AIG Direct. We were surprised to find that through AIG Direct, a $250,000 policy is less than $14 a month. Now we're protected with AIG, and that feels good.
Helping to protect your family through AIG Direct is fast, easy, and incredibly affordable. Call AIG Direct now and get a free no-obligation quote in less than 5 minutes. Call now and you can save up to 70%. Call 1-800-521-0281. That's 1-800-521-0281. 1-800-521-0281.
This is Dr. Ellenberg. Are you tired of taking medications? Your medications create more side effects than solutions. Do you want more than 15 minutes with your doctor? If you answer yes to those questions, you should consider calling the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine. At our center, we take the time to listen and focus on finding the cause of your health problems. Whether you have a cold, high blood pressure, diabetes, or cancer, we can help. Call the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine at 563-2366 or visit us online at drellenberg.com. We can help.
6 years ago, we took a chance on Mark Begich. Begich promised us he'd be an independent voice for Alaska. Instead, he's voted with Barack Obama 97% of the time for Obamacare, wasteful spending, and trillions in debt. Begich supported them all, even though they hurt Alaska. 6 years ago, Begich promised to fight for ANWR. 6 years later, ANWR is still closed to exploration, and Begich stood by as Obama's overzealous EPA hurt Alaska. Instead of taking responsibility for his failures and broken promises, Begich is running a vicious campaign with attacks called some of the most dishonest and inflammatory of the year. We gave Mark Begich a chance. He gave us a record of Obamacare, wasteful spending, and broken promises. We can't afford 6 more years of Mark Begich. Alaska needs a change. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
Glen Biegel, you have beautiful teeth.
Why, thank you, Dan Fagan. That's because my family and I have gone to Dr. Dan Kiley for years.
I get scared at the dentist.
Dr. Kiley knows people like you are afraid, so he creates a relaxed atmosphere at his office. People actually like going to the dentist for Dr. Kiley.
I know it's important to have good dental health.
And you look better with good teeth. And Dr. Kiley offers cosmetic dentistry along with general care.
Visit Dr. Dan Kiley at lakeotisdental.com. Call him at 562-9209.
When Malarkey Mark Begich ran for U.S. Senator, he made a lot of claims about his record as Anchorage mayor. Begich knew the truth wouldn't come to light before the election. But now, history is caught up with Malarkey Mark. Under Begich, Anchorage taxes went up 27%. Under Begich, the city budget ballooned, a $142 million increase in spending. Under Begich, the city was saddled with unprecedented 5-year union contracts. Under Begich, a deficit of over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy, America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 1080 KOAN.
$8:06 in the morning on a Friday morning. Congratulations, you made it October 24th. You know, over at Chugach Chiropractic, they get a lot of satisfaction from the work they do because so many people go see Dr. Myron Swigert and his team and leaves in such better shape. Leave in not having to experience pain they've had for years. They live healthier lives. They lose weight. It's a great thing Dr. Swigert does and his team out there. I can't imagine how rewarding it must be for them. Why not take advantage of it for your own life? You do not have to live in pain. You do not have to walk around groggy and tired. You do not have to be overweight. They can help you with that. Give the folks at Chugach Chiropractic a phone call. They have a great facility. It's amazing. State-of-the-art everything. Here's their number, 694-9224. 694-9224. Chugach Chiropractic. Our number here in Anchorage, 569-1080, 569-1080. Brian, the soul and heart, the heart and soul of this broadcast, has a question for the panel.
I just put in a sweet tart, sorry.
Love sweet tarts.
Okay, my question was, and I was thinking of Dan specifically, and so I have to give you sort of in addition to the question. So besides golf, what are your favorite things you'd like to do in leisure time? When you're just relaxing, what do you do to relax?
That's it.
And have fun?
Just golf.
Just golf.
You watch football?
Yeah, I was
so,
going to say, watching football.
And you also like to eat ribeye steaks. You like to drive your car, and you like to drive it very fast. You enjoy conversation with people wherever you are, and you will have them continuously. Is there anything else I need to lay on the line
Good job,
here?
Glenn.
I know. I'm thinking of ways we can stress relieve.
Likes,
you know?
I love to knit. I love to knit sweaters.
Jeez. I'd like to learn to knit.
We have to keep you away from sharp objects, though.
No, you know, I read a lot. And I listen to a lot of I watch a lot of videos from people that I trust and I believe employ a lot of wisdom. There's guys like Chris Fullerton and Bill Johnson and Danny Silk and others like them who they're just so brilliant. And I can listen to them. I'll go to their website and I'll listen to them, you know, hours sometimes in a week. And I read a lot. I read a lot on the internet. You know, I read occasionally. I'll read books. I never read fiction. And in golf, I love golf. I like going for walks in the summer.
Sunsets.
I love
pina coladas
I love sunsets.
In the rain.
I used to, when I lived in Bootlegger's Cove, I used to sit at Elderberry Park, that bench there that overlooked Sleeping Lady, and smoke a cigar 2-3 nights a week.
Yeah.
But I don't do that anymore because I don't really smoke cigars anymore. I don't know.
It's cold now too.
Well, yeah, but this summer, I did that a few times. But I just like to contemplate too. I like to sit on a bench and just kind of sit there and I find that when you sit there with it and you start to think about all the things in your life in which you are grateful for, there's a peace that overcomes you. Literally, you physically feel peace when you're grateful about things, and no matter what you're going through in life, and no matter what it is that you're struggling with, all that seems to not matter when you focus on what you're grateful for. And I love doing stuff like that. I love just sitting there. Sometimes I'll just sit in my house and do that in the winter. So I try to do that.
You're a thinker. You like to think.
Well, yeah, I guess.
What about you, Glenn? What do you like to do?
I like to sleep.
Free time? What's that?
I try sleeping. I suppose this is sad, but I like to spend time with my wife and my kids.
How's that sad?
That's not sad at all.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But I know that there's. We do guys' night once a month. I think you should come. By the way,
I'd love to.
Yeah, we watched the Giants baseball game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. I used to read a lot. I did. I loved science fiction, and I would read constantly.
Science fiction?
About 4 or 5 hours a day.
I did not know that. You read a lot of science fiction in your life.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 hours every day.
Wow, I had no idea.
When I was in high school.
Not as an adult.
No, I just can't read. I cannot get into anything. It might take me, and I think the Silmarillion, which was a book that hopefully nobody's ever read, and I don't know, I hope nobody's even heard of it, but it was the precursor to the Hobbit series that was written by
C.S. Lewis.
No, not C.S. Lewis. Tolkien.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so Tolkien writes the Hobbit, but in order to get
same guy read Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, same thing. So in order to get ready for this, he wrote this book called the Silmarillion, which basically reads like the book of Numbers from the Bible, and it's the worst book ever. It took me, I think,
the book of Numbers or the science fiction?
3 months. The Silmarillion. It took me 3 months to get through 90 pages. I think it ruined me for reading books. So I don't know. But I don't know. I love to eat. I love to go find something to, some ice cream. I basically hunt ice cream down across.
Since you answered for me, can I answer for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, you're the hardest working man ever that I've ever met. You work here for 3 hours a day, and then you go work at your other job for 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, whatever it is. And then you have to work around your house. I know you just built a shed. You're always doing stuff around there. And then you got your kids that you spend, I would imagine, you just never really have a minute of free time.
Yeah. I like to spend time more with my wife.
I know you go for drives with your wife.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
That's so sweet.
I think it's the most important thing for your kids to see how you treat your wife.
Yes.
More important than how you treat them.
Yeah.
How you treat their wife.
And you're a pool player, but you don't do it much, but you're good at it.
Yeah. No, I was probably 10th best in the state when I got up here. I came back in 1981 after college. But I worked in a couple pool halls and actually got 4th in the Ferrandi tournament.
Good for you. I got 4th in the Ferrandi poker tournament.
Aha.
That's amazing. We both got 4th.
I love poker too.
Do you really?
I don't think I'm very good at it, but I do like to play.
I like people who aren't good at it. Bonnie, what's your deal?
In the winter, I pretty much don't have very much time because I'm homeschooling the kids. But in free time, I like to catch up on podcasts from some very wise lady friends and fellow moms. In the summer, I like to fish and hunt and go target shooting.
You may be more like a man than I am.
I don't think there's any question about that, frankly.
If I get lost in the woods, I want Bonnie with me.
No, I'm an Alaskan woman.
If I get lost in the woods, I'm looking for the Hilton. Where's the hotel?
Have you seen Bonnie?
I did. When we were out of state for that 18 months, I felt a little bit lost without being able to go fishing, and I had to I started canning a lot, and I like to go berry picking and can, and make jelly.
I want to ask Brian what he does, but he's got 9 jobs. He's got as many jobs as Glenn has kids.
He hangs out with a whole bunch of 20-year-old women who are dancing all the time.
Well,
Am I wrong on that, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay, the 25-year-old?
I mean, they might be in the building, but not around me.
Oh, I see. Okay, they're out on the floor.
I think you'd make a great catch, Brian. Don't you think Brian would be a great catch?
Perfect.
We were talking about that. If they had the nice cave and the club, they could come get me.
Club him over the head, haul him off.
569-1080, Fagan Biegel Bonnie, 814 from that. 9-1080, Fagan Biegel Bonnie, 814 from that.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk. Online at 1080KOAN.com.
Hi, this is Jonathan Martin at Harrington & Company. Sellers, if you are going to sell your home, now may very well be the best time. The current interest rates are still very low in comparison to previous loan rates. Now is the time to take advantage of this uncommon phenomenon. We will look back at this period as a golden opportunity to buy or sell. Homeowners planning to sell should call us at 244-0821. We will be happy to come out and do a comparative market analysis at your convenience. Call Jonathan Martin at Harrington & Company, 244-0821. That's 244-0821.
My name is Billy Yellington, and I love being a firefighter.
2 years ago, while fighting a fire, the roof collapsed while Billy was underneath.
Didn't think I was going home.
Captain Mike Hermes and engineer Kevin Woolsey made up the rest of the crew that day.
With the snow load and everything else, they figured that section of the roof was about 6,000 pounds.
Captain Hermes calls a mayday. A firefighter is down.
I says, I got to stay with Billy. And I remember he said 4 words to me. He says, go. I got this. When they finally got him out, I still had that same feeling that he's probably not going to make it.
Billy did make it, but under AO-37, firefighters' voices are silenced on staffing and equipment needs. AO-37 makes a dangerous job more dangerous.
I'm convinced one less firefighter there that day, Billy wouldn't have been here.
Vote no on 1 to keep politics out of public safety. This message is paid for by Repeal 37 and approved by former Police Chief Walt Monaghan and former Fire Chief Craig Goodrich chairs. Top 3 contributors are APDEA, Anchorage Firefighters, and AFSCME International of Washington, D.C.
Being a business owner isn't easy. There's managing people, customers, income, expenses, unexpected issues, growing your brand, and so much more. Ready to be more efficient in everything you do? Then listen to Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Each week, David gives you the inside scoop on the latest business news and trends, along with tools for keeping your business on track. Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt, Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on Hot Talk, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 a.m.
Well, howdy, I'm Nick Worthington for 4x4 Headquarters, Worthington Ford.
Home of over 1,000 vehicles and 700 4x4s.
Head in today and we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. 3 times your PFD, plus pick any vehicle, and you can make no payments until next year. Take a look.
Here's a Chevy Tahoe. It's a 4x4, just $10,900. And a Hyundai Santa Fe for $59.50.
Here's a Ford Fusion, just $13,900. And here's a Ford Ranger, just $13,900.
Remember, we've got over 1,000 vehicles to choose from. Get a 4x4 for those icy roads ahead. And the best place for that is 4x4 Headquarters.
And we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. And folks, don't forget your trade-in. We need your trade-in.
Push, pull, or drag it in, and you'll get top dollar.
Now's the time. Head into Giant Worthington Ford on Gamble.
04 Tahoe, 1475908. 05 Santa Fe, Q08478. 07 Ranger, 1476888. 2011 Fusion, Q2351. On approved credit, subject to prior sales. See dealer for details. Ends 10/30/2014.
I'm Charlie Huggins, Alaska Senate President.
And I'm Becky Huggins.
We've known Sean Parnell for years. We're proud to call him a friend.
Sean's a man of integrity. He fights every day for our families and our state.
Sean's a strong leader. He stands up to federal overreach and defends our Second Amendment rights. Sean fights for Alaska.
As a veteran, I appreciate Sean's support for our military here in Alaska and overseas. He looks out for our men and women in uniform and for our veterans.
Sean Parnell is a true conservative for governor. I've worked with Sean in the legislature. He brings people together with strong, steady leadership that gets results.
Thanks to Sean, our economy is strong and we're on track for a gas pipeline. Governor Sean Parnell is good for the Mat-Su and good for Alaska.
Please join us in supporting Sean Parnell for governor on November the 4th.
Paid for by Purnell Sullivan 2014 for Alaska's future.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN at 1080 KOAN. KVNT.
569-1080
8:19 in the morning, Friday morning. How about that? October 24th. Be glad it's Friday. I think I am.
Heck yeah.
We're happy you're here.
Woo.
Keith Montanuk's happy it's Friday. He works so hard. He's at his shop every Monday through Friday from 5:30 in the morning till 6 at night. But that's how he has become the premier car repair shop in the state of Alaska. He's been in business a long time. He's a trustworthy guy. I can vouch for him. He's worked on many of my vehicles, and he's a good guy, too. Up on the very latest technology when it comes to automobile repair. Give Keith Montanuk a call. His number is 349-1637. 349-1637. He's right across the street from the Long Branch Saloon right there off of Abbott. Keith Montanuk, Specialty Truck and Auto. 8:20 is the time. Glenn, you got something?
Well, I always keeping an eye on homeless, and we were talking about this off air, but I do wonder whether or not the homeless statistics are accurate. I was reading
You do
something.
not wonder about whether they're accurate. You know they're not accurate.
I guess I know that any special interest is always going to have inaccurate numbers. The question is, how inaccurate are they? They were saying that the number of people under the age of 18 that are homeless, the total that adds to the population across the U.S., 40%. And to me, I say, no.
Almost half of kids are homeless?
No, almost half of all the people who are homeless across the entire United States are kids under the age of 18. Honestly, I
know in the
my guess is you just define it however you want, because that's crazy. That doesn't even make any sense.
In the Anchorage School District, if you live with your grandmother, you're homeless.
Okay, yeah, and that's what I was thinking, is that you've got to have some kind of goofing around. So anyway, I'm always looking for what's going on in the homeless community, because to me it's one of the greatest tragedies. First of all, there are a lot of people who are really homeless, not the people who are on drugs and killing themselves in public. Okay, I don't count those people. There's nothing you can do. What are you going to do? You're going to take them to detox, right? You're going to put them in jail for 6 months. That actually would be the best thing for them, by the way.
Absolutely.
If you put them in jail for 6 months, just say, look, you're on drugs, you're in public, we're putting you away for 6 months. It would cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. It might save a few people's lives, because when they got out, they'd probably go right back on drugs. You know, the only way to get off drugs is to want to get off drugs. Anyway, so I don't count those people as homeless at all. Those are not the chronic homeless. They're not the real homeless. They're not actual homeless. Those are just people on drugs. But there is a hidden tragedy in Anchorage, and that is cost of our housing here. Absolutely through.
Where's Bill Walker on the Kinnicon Bridge?
That's a great question.
Well, we got this debate with him a week from today out in the valley.
Yeah.
And Amanda Coyle and I'll be moderating it. He's swung left on just about everything.
Les Guerra called up supporting the Walker ticket and then argued against the Kinnicon Bridge.
Right. So I wonder if Walker has abandoned, because that's a big deal for the folks out of the valley. I wonder if that's yet another proposal that he's swung left on.
Well, it's a big deal for me.
It's huge.
It's probably going to make a bigger impact on my family, Kinnicon Bridge, than if we get a gas line. I mean, that's how big of a deal it is, because my kids won't be able to afford to live here. You can't buy $250.
Well, no,
I got $125,000 house when I was first getting started, because somebody gave me a break. It was like an 80-year-old woman who said, "You know what? I just want to sell this to a nice family." That's the only reason. That's it. And my wife's parents gave us $10,000 in order to put down on it. There's no way you can get into a $250,000 house. You can't buy property in this town if you're just starting out and you have any children.
Well, if you want to live in Fairview where they're selling crack in your front yard, you can buy.
We did live down there. We lived in Crack Central, actually, before we moved into our house. Anyway, so I'm very interested in the real homeless problem, and the real homeless problem is the fact that we don't have a bridge. And anybody who, like Les Guerra, calls up and tells me, "Oh, I'm all worried about the poor, and I'm all worried about people having hard times." I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. That's ridiculous.
We should say that Chuck Spinelli, who's the largest home builder in Alaska, said the very second they break ground on that bridge, he's going to start building hundreds of houses over there.
You will be able to buy a house again for $120,000 to $140,000.
No, probably not that low, but $220,000.
No way. They will have houses for a lot less than that. A lot less than that.
I think they're building a lot of duplexes out there.
Yeah, duplexes,
so,
whatever.
You know, it'd be one side of a house.
Yeah.
Well, right now,
it's better than you can get
if
here.
You're a young couple and you got a couple of kids and you want to get into a nice 3 or 4 bedroom house, $350, $360 minimum.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then you just can't afford that. You got your student loans.
Mm.
You've only been in your workplace 5, 6, 7 years. Nobody makes that kind of money.
And what's the hang up? I mean, all I hear is about Government Hill being affected, and that's a big deal. I mean, times they are changing, people.
Well, guess what? They'll buy their houses from them, then rebuild them, and then give them their property back if they want it. That's the deal that they have. You know how horrible that is? Oh, no, I want my 70-year-old house. Don't you ever even consider building me a new house on this property. It's the most outrageous
I mean,
position.
the gas station over there is already shut down. They quit pumping gas in anticipation for this. So.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've got the homeless situation, and here are the quotes. People who become homeless, and these are the people who I really worry about, the people who become homeless, not the people who are out in the street corner. Do not fit a general description. However, people experiencing homelessness do have certain shared basic needs, including affordable housing, adequate incomes, and health care. And so my comment is, well, obviously, we got a shortage of communism in our town. Because if we were communists, these people would be well taken care of. That's unbelievable. I said, what about jobs? What about development? What about growth? What are you talking about? You're not talking about any solutions. What about marriage? You want to solve? A lot of people lose their house because they are on one income, and when they lose that income, that's it. It's over.
One of the best luncheons I ever put on, one Thursday at lunchtime, we rented the entire Sullivan's restaurant, packed the place out, standing room only. We had a panel of about 5 or 6 people up there. We had a couple of anti-bridge people. But when you see, this is the beauty of our luncheons, we go into such depth on an issue. And 80% of the people who are at that luncheon who aren't hardcore leftists, they were outraged that we don't have a bridge. Because when you see the upside of this bridge presented in great detail over an hour and a half luncheon, you leave there going, what in the world? Why have we not built this bridge? And that's why when I had Governor Parnell on my old TV show, and I was like, Governor, why haven't you built this thing? And at the time, he didn't even know how much it cost. And that's one of my major disappointments with the governor. And, of course, we don't know where Bill Walker stands on it. But, I believe that should be the top priority. Because if he gets reelected, he should start breaking ground on that thing within a year. This idea of trying to get, we need these investors, that investors. Build the thing. Take the $800 million to $1.5 billion, whatever it costs. It will pay so many dividends. Just write a check. We got $80 billion in the bank. Build a damn bridge. Pittsburgh has like 60 of them or 600 of them. I don't know what it is.
And we're out of room. There's no more room to build here, and the prices are sky high. The rentals. You can't get a really nice rental for less than, $1,800, $2,000.
Not decent.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, even the crappy places are $1,500.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I started calling people on the carpet about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think people need to do.
Quit talking. More doing.
Just build it.
Just build it.
569-1080. 569-1080. That's the number if you'd like to join the broadcast. You can email me, danfaganshow@icloud.com. danfaganshow@icloud.com. How about that this Friday? How about that?
Made it all the way through. Week and a half to the election. And they've had another debate, by the way.
Yeah, last night the big topic was Harry Reid. Dan Sullivan kept mentioning
that is devastating for Begich to have Harry Reid's name ever come up.
And then Begich telling the crowd, well, I don't know how I'm going to vote.
He should have said, I will never vote for Harry Reid.
I'll tell you, I will tell you that it was such a kick in the gut for me, the last presidential election, because I really thought Reid was going to, Mitt Romney was going to win. But if we come around on the 4th and Begich is reelected, I'm gonna have great difficulty dealing with that. It's gonna make me question the people who live here, because that's such a suicidal move economically. It's just not gonna. I'm gonna need some consoling. Glenn, can you come over and hug me?
Okay.
The election night, if
we'll give hugs.
Just maybe rock me in my rocking chair, because I'm gonna need some help.
Sing a lullaby.
Something.
All right.
829, Fagan Beagle Bonnie.
is brought to you by Jansen Funeral Homes, Jansen's Evergreen Memorial Chapel, Jansen's Alaska Cremation Center, and Jansen's Eagle River Funeral Home. Jansen Funeral Homes, where just like family, they're there when you need them.
With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. Anchorage officials joining nonprofits in seeking some help with a new plan to curb homelessness. And Kenda has more.
The coalition is looking for public input as it develops a 5-year plan to reduce homelessness in Anchorage. Residents were asked to share their thoughts with a 10-minute survey at surveymonkey.com. It'll help the coalition determine priorities for the homelessness plan.
Anchorage police investigating a shocking act of animal cruelty. They were looking for suspects Thursday after a pit bull named Snoop was found hanging from a tree with its throat slit. The mobile home park near the Northway Mall. Federal officials have announced a $5 million grant to help bring indoor plumbing to the western village of Akiachuk. Currently, only half of the homes in the remote community have plumbing. Finally, little damage was reported after a moderate earthquake hit the Fairbanks area on Thursday. That's your Hot Talk News update.
Clouds and sunshine for today. High 33. Patchy clouds, cold tonight, low 18. Sunshine and clouds for tomorrow. High 32. Saturday night, low 15. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 30. Monday, mostly cloudy with a bit of snow, little to no accumulation, high 36. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Hey folks, this is Chris and Brock from The Beer Show. Make sure to listen to us every Saturday at 5 p.m. on 95.1 and 1080 KOAN.
The Beer Show is brought to you proudly every single week by Humpy's Great Alaska Ale House, Brown Jug Alaska, Great Artisan Beverages, and the Odom Corporation. Always drink responsibly. For you.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
More than 75% of consumers mistakenly believe certain foods are unsafe to eat after the expiration date has passed. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. The USDA says expiration dates are not a safety date, so think of them more as a guideline than a deadline. First off, a little deciphering of the label. A sell-by date on food suggests you buy the food before that date, but it doesn't indicate the food is spoiled. For example, milk stays good 1 week past the sell-by date. Yogurt stays fresh 7 to 10 days after the sell-by date, and eggs stay good for 3 to 5 weeks past the sell-by date in the refrigerator. Now, if you see a best if used by date on your food, it just means the best freshness and quality. Again, not safety. Before you clean out the fridge the next time, you can check out the USDA website for tips to determine if your food is still safe to eat. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Dad, what are you doing in my cave?
I'm not Dad. I'm Safety Man.
Any parent can be a safety hero. It just takes a few simple steps. Start by replacing older smoke alarms with Kidda Worry-Free alarms. The 10-year sealed-in lithium battery means these alarms are always on. No low battery chirps and no battery replacement for 10 years. And Kidda makes it simple to choose the right alarm for the right location. Help make fire safety worry-free and give back the cape. Kidda Worry-Free alarms, available at the Home Depot.
The flu, pneumonia, whooping cough, hepatitis A, shingles, meningitis, tetanus. That's a scary list. But did you know immunizations can protect you from every one? You didn't? Well, we do. Rite Aid pharmacists are certified to immunize against the most common preventable diseases. Find out what immunizations you need with a free immunization evaluation at Rite Aid today. With us, it's personal. Availability and age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
When I grow up, I want to be a pro basketball player. An elementary school teacher.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, Country Financial helps you and your family grow your own way.
Or maybe a veterinarian. A mom, a doctor, and president of the United States. Maybe an astronaut or, an Olympic gymnast.
You can grow your own way. We know some dreams take a little longer to achieve, which is why your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything, from auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream.
Or maybe an accountant, like my dad.
For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Here's my good friend, Keith Monternock.
Automotive repairs can be frustrating. Let me help. Call 349-1637. I have been in business for nearly 20 years at the same location. Specialty Truck and Auto is in South Anchorage behind the Long Branch Saloon where Diamond becomes Abbott. I have 6 ASE certified technicians working from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have a voucher for any of the 6 Alaska Laser Wash locations for each customer. If you schedule ahead and need a ride when you drop your vehicle off, I may be able to help. Call Specialty Truck and Auto, 349-1637.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call.
How'd you know? All right, we're on. We're on 8:35. Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. You guys are talking about suicide and the homeless. You know, it's Friday. You want to be a downer, but I think we need as a people just to come to the realization, and this is directly related to the homeless problem, that there's just always going to be people among us who don't want help. They're not interested in reaching out for help. They're not interested in, getting better and making better decisions. They just want to do whatever feels good. They want to, they seek pleasure and comfort instead of, sacrifice and making right decisions. And they're just gonna. We all have part of it. Every one of us looks at our lives and go, I wish I made better decisions in this area of my life. Well, these people, the homeless, they pretty much just make bad decisions in every area of their life. So it's not like we're that different, but to think that we can solve this problem. This is a problem. This is my big problem with the homeless movement, Glenn. You can't. There will always be poor among us, and poverty is not a financial issue anyway. It's a decision issue. It's a mentality, right? And so look, if some guy wants to get up every day and do nothing but drink until he falls asleep and doesn't want to play by anybody's rules and doesn't want to answer to anybody and doesn't want to reach out for help, there's just nothing you can do about that.
Well, I do wonder. First of all, I would suggest a few things that you should stop doing if you are doing them. First of all, do not give monetary charity to people who are on a street corner, because your charity may be the final dose that kills them. So unless you want to be responsible for somebody else's death,
that's a great point.
You just can't give. That's not charity. They're not asking you to give them help in order to make their lives better. They're asking you to give them money so they can get a drug and kill themselves.
And it might make you feel good at the time.
But it
That's
should.
Another great point.
Yeah. They prey on that. They know that you're going to feel okay, that here they are, they got the sign telling them, look, if people want help in the city of Anchorage, we spend an enormous amount, an unbelievable amount of resources in order to try and help people.
Now run to McDonald's, buy them a sandwich, that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, well, what I've seen several times is people that I went and got some Taco Bell, I think, gave it to them. They threw it away.
It seems kind of. Oh, they threw it away?
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's
you get
against
people,
the law too to give them money, right?
Yeah.
How do you know they threw it away?
I watched them. Yeah, and somebody else has reported the same thing to me on another case where they said they watched somebody give them food, and as soon as the person was gone, they went over to the trash can and just threw it away.
Wow.
So somebody had spent their real money, helping people out. So that's the first thing I would suggest people do right away. Do not give somebody who's on drugs money. That is not charity.
I totally agree, but I would think that that's the exception, because I think most of these homeless people, it's not like they got a lot of disposable income, and while they would have preferred you buy them a fifth of Jack Daniels, I would think they're probably going to eat that food. And I have bought quite a few homeless people food, and I've never seen them anything with totally excited. And
I don't think that it's a sin to give them food, by the way.
No.
But I'm just warning you that they will be eating anyway down at the homeless shelter.
Well, that's a
later
good point.
in the day.
I've rolled my window down, and then they were excited to come over to the window, and then I gave them oranges, and they were like, "Oh."
Yeah, it's all about the alcohol.
Yeah. So anyway, I would definitely suggest that. But secondly, for people who are out supposedly trying to help with the homeless problem, public input sought on 5-year homeless plan in Anchorage, these are not people who are trying to help. they're not really dealing with the homeless. They keep showing people who are on drugs, who are on a street corner as homeless. Forget about those people. It's like Dan says, what are you going to do? The best thing you can possibly do, first of all, is get them back to their family or get them into a scenario in which they have something to do. Secondly, the other thing you do is put them in jail, because that's the only way they're going to get away from their drug, and then hope that they want to talk to somebody and try and work it out. I
do believe the jail, and I remember I said this on QD, and I got tons of calls, people saying you're so heartless. But look, if I am a hardcore alcoholic and all I want to do is get drunk every day, the best thing you can do for me is to lock me up and separate me from my addiction. And what I proposed on QD was, first sentence, if you're publicly inebriate, 30 days. Second sentence, 60 days. Third sentence, 6 months. Fourth sentence, a year. At some point, after you get that, fifth sentence, 5 years. People say, oh, that's so cold, that's so inhumane. Man, that person's going to live so much longer. They're going to be dead in 3 years anyway. What would you rather be, dead and drunk every day, or actually spend 5 years in jail? I don't know. But then the other side of the libertarian argument, which I think has some validity to it, is if people want to kill themselves slowly, leave them alone. If I want to get drunk every day of my life and that's all I want to do, let me do it. Get out of my hair.
Right, because aren't you spending more of the public money putting them in jail?
To me, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the individual. What's best for the individual?
Yeah, but you could say that about everything, and then we'd be paying for everybody.
Well, Nicolas Cage leaving Las Vegas. You seen that movie?
I never did, no.
I think he won an Oscar for it, or
the
movie did. Yeah.
What was it about?
He basically had a bad life. His wife left him. Everything was going horrible. He decided he was going to move to Vegas and drink himself to death.
Wow.
And part of his problem was he was already drinking too much.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where he's going through the liquor store with a cart and filling it up. And it's a pretty sad but weird movie.
How did he get all the money for all that?
I sold everything.
Oh, okay.
Sold his house, sold everything.
That's so sad. That's hopeless.
He went there to die.
That's hopelessness.
Yeah.
When did you graduate high school?
96.
Oh, my goodness. I was like 40 in 96.
I graduated in 86.
86?
Mm-hmm.
Brian, when did you graduate from high school?
88.
I graduated from high school in 1953.
Wow.
No. Nice. My mom graduated in 69.
Good for a 90-year-old.
She's older than
My
you.
72-year-old mother didn't even graduate then. Exactly.
96? Was I in 96?
See, that sounds old to me. I'm going to have my 20-year reunion here soon.
Wow.
Oh, my daughter was born in 98.
Okay, you're just making us feel old.
How old's your husband?
He's 2 years older, 38.
So he's robbing the cradle. How old's your wife compared to you?
She's 3 years younger.
Okay, you're robbing the cradle too.
Oh, yeah.
How old was your wife, Brian?
She was 3 years younger.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I know people who one was 18 years younger.
Wow, I dated.
And another one was 12 or 14 years younger.
Wow.
Yeah.
My wife was 25 years older than me. That's what I did the last.
That's just not true.
I was a junior in high school. Mm-hmm. She was in her 40s.
I'm going to learn this story one day.
One day.
I've told you my past.
No, you accidentally let blurp out your past.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. There's no telling. It's like, yeah, and I won't repeat it.
It's a great story. I'm going to write a book one day when my kids are old.
569-1080. Friday, how about that? October 24th. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Do us a favor. Tell your friends, tell your family that we're here. We're on KOAN in Anchorage, 95.1 on FM, 1020 AM. And then out in the valley, we're on KVNT, 92.5 FM, 1020 AM. We're here every Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 AM. Brian's here, too. He's the heart and soul of the show. 844.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give him a call, 569-1080. KOAN.
Trail Boss Solutions is your local award-winning, nationally recognized construction and remodel firm. From handyman services to kitchen design and remodel to custom home construction, Trail Boss Solutions has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion, on time and on budget. Trail Boss Solutions is the only call for all your construction, design, and remodel needs. Please visit us on the web at trailboss-solutions.com or contact Trail Boss Solutions Direct at 646-1403.
I'm Mark Begich, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by Alaskans for Baggage.
Who will protect your privacy rights in the U.S. Senate? Dan Sullivan worked for Condoleezza Rice, one of the architects of the surveillance state. She's in Sullivan's TV ads because he helped implement her agenda that threatens Alaskans' liberty, like extending the Patriot Act that allows the government unlimited access to your personal records. And when Sullivan was with the National Security Council, the NSA authorized warrantless wiretaps of U.S. citizens. Sullivan is bankrolled by the billionaire Koch brothers, who have been manipulating the oil markets for years, driving up gas prices. And Sullivan even opposes the Stand Your Ground law that allows you to defend yourself in your own home. Only 2 candidates oppose the Patriot Act and NSA wiretapping and support Stand Your Ground. And that's Mark Begich and Libertarian Mark Fish. True Alaskans fighting the Dan Sullivan surveillance state.
He's defeated every champion from every organization the sport of mixed martial arts has ever seen. And now Chael Sonnen's on podcast1.com.
Hi, this is Chael Sonnen, and I've got a brand new podcast. It's called You're Welcome. I'm going to talk about the stuff that excites me, the stuff that ticks me off, and we're even going to have some very great guests. Consider this your VIP pass to enlightenment.
Download a new episode of You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen every Wednesday at podcast1.com. That's podcastone.com.
The traffic jam. A stifling halt to your thrilling drive. But in a redesigned 2015 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, that interruption is at least tolerable. With the most luxurious interior in its class and an innovative touchpad, the all-new 2015 C-Class is as exciting to experience standing still as it is in motion. And with its improved acceleration power, your state of comfort continues, knowing you'll make it to your destination on time. To your authorized dealer and see the world differently in a C-Class from Mercedes-Benz. Lease the 2015 C300 4MATIC sedan for $439 a month for 36 months with $4,733 to its signing.
Available only to qualified customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services and participating dealers through October 31st, 2014. Call 1-800-FO1-Mercedes for offer details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
Paid for by Pruitt for State House, 2954 Brittany Place, Anchorage.
Let's Pruitt for our future. We'll fight for you and me, a strong economy.
What do educators and parents say about Lance Pruitt?
As a parent, I appreciate what Lance has done for schools and sports programs in East Anchorage.
From my perspective as a high school principal, Lance Pruitt is the best choice to raise Anchorage.
Lance knows our kids are Alaska's future and much more than a budget line item.
Lance Pruitt is a genuine advocate for education. He supports teachers and knows the tools they need to be effective in the classroom.
As a teacher and a mom, I know Lance is the kind of leader we need to continue to move Alaska and education forward.
I'm voting for Lance because he's someone Alaska can trust.
Lance Pruitt, a true advocate for education and East Anchorage. November 4th, re-elect Lance Pruitt.
Lance Pruitt, he will do it for our future.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 1080KOAN.com.
You know, I said during the commercial break that I'm a movie snob and I judge people if they, like bad movies or if they don't like good movies. You know how I always talk about hope, and I apologize for that. I know but Shawshank Redemption is the greatest hope movie ever. I mean, there's not a movie that's ever been made that promotes the notion of hope carrying you through difficult times than Shawshank Redemption.
It's just such a guy movie. And I've seen parts of it so many times because it's always on, and my dad and my husband are always watching it if it's on, and I don't get it. I mean, you've seen a movie once. Why do you need to watch it again? I mean, besides Anne of Green Gables.
Nah.
That one doesn't count.
But you experience what goes on in the movie again, and I mean, if it's.
I do like the end of Shawshank Redemption.
So you didn't like the movie,
Turns out,
huh?
Justice is served.
So
but not really served. It's just taken.
But you don't
Spoiler.
Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
So you don't like the movie,
I guess it's not that I don't like it, but I just don't need to watch it over and over again like men seem to do.
That's different. But you did like
I thought it was a good movie to watch once. Although it was dark. It was so dark.
No, I've never seen it more than once, but I mean, but the bottom line is, because this is very important to the future of your employment. You did like the movie, right?
Yes, boss. Yes.
Because we can't have.
You admit it is a classic, right?
It is a classic that you just don't need to watch all the time.
So it's just you don't want to see it every day, but you
right,
like it.
Right.
What's your favorite movie, Glenn?
I don't know.
I love that Glenn participates in the show.
And the
thing
thing is that I've had 7 minutes or whatever to think about what
one
my
of your
movie.
One of your favorite movies. Doesn't have to be the favorite.
Gone with the Wind. Just say it.
I have no idea.
You've never seen Gone with the Wind?
I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure I'm stuck in my teen years because I love teen movies like Harry Potter, which I've watched dozens of times.
Seriously?
Yeah, you were like in your 30s when that came out.
I didn't think you had time to sit there and watch movies like that.
Well, a lot of times I'll just watch a movie as I'm going to sleep, so I'll catch 20 minutes of it or something, and then finally go to sleep.
Do you have a TV in your bedroom?
I have a little computer, yeah. I've computerized, digitalized all of my movies.
I had a TV in my bedroom when I was in my 20s, and it wrecked my sleep life.
Mm-hmm.
I could not, because I would try to watch TV until I would fall asleep, and I would never stop watching TV. And when I took it out of there, it just changed. It really helped my sleep life.
That's good.
Yeah.
They say you shouldn't watch electronics right by when you're trying to go to sleep. So.
Brian, what's one of your favorite movies?
I'd say Back to the Future, definitely one of them.
The first one?
Yeah.
It was clever.
Yeah, I like the whole time travel thing.
Calvin Klein.
And it's fun.
And, what's the deal with Sylvester Stallone with guys? I mean, he annoys me so bad.
Rocky was good, but I can't think of any other ones.
Oh, that is true. Rocky was probably Rocky 2 was probably my favorite movie.
Rocky 1 is one of the top 5 movies ever made.
Or the one where he's in the forest and the law enforcement are after him the whole time. What's that one called?
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It
wasn't Cliffhanger. He was like an ex-military guy.
Rambo.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was okay.
I like the Karate Kid.
First one was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that had Elizabeth Shue in it as well.
It's funny, my friend Mickey,
yeah,
who now is a big-time Hollywood guy. He's got his own production company. He and I worked for the same company in New Orleans, and he took the Karate Kid, and somehow he this is back before you have what you have today, and he downloaded it to the what we had back then was 1-inch tape and these big reels, and this is a pretty high-end production company we worked for, and he literally went frame by frame by frame in that movie, and he learned a lot. Well, no, he'd watched it 100 times.
Wow!
Literally go frame by frame by frame, and now he produces TV shows for Disney, and he's one of the most talented movie trailer directors in Hollywood. He does a lot of the movie. They'll give him the movie, and then they say, okay, make your trailer. And I remember him. He would, I'd go over to the place we worked, and everything I learned about video production and television, I learned from him, and he's one of the best in the country. But he's got so much more talent than me, and that's why I never really pursued video production, because I realized I just don't have what it takes that he has. But I remember I'd go in there at 2 a.m. He'd be going through Karate Kid, frame by frame, frame by frame. And he'd show me, you see how they missed that continuity cut there, and the hand was here instead of there. And, but it's paid off. And that's excellent, by the way. People who are really excellent at what they do, they're like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like to find the mistakes in movies.
Oh, that's fun.
Whenever you find a mistake, that's like thrill.
I don't know how you guys feel about movies today, but I am so down on the industry. Everything's a cut. Here's the genre. You got this guy who can walk into a room and kill 12 people in 12 seconds.
Yep.
The government screws him. The U.S. government is out to kill him. It's Born Identity is now every other movie that's an action thriller.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the CIA. They're listening to you. They're following you, and it's him against the whole government. It's always the U.S. government's the bad guy. It's the assassin who's the good guy. It's the same freaking movie over and over and over again. You put Denzel in there. You put who. It doesn't matter who it is. Different actor every time.
Same thing with romantic comedies.
Yeah.
Same story.
See, I don't watch those.
Every time.
Come on, Dan.
Yeah.
Come clean.
I don't.
Come on.
I do watch soap operas during the day.
Okay.
You do not.
No, I
Okay. You know what I want to... This is kind of off the topic, but we were talking about Ted Stevens and Mark Begich yesterday. I'd really like to read that book. I hear it's really good.
We're going to get him
the
on.
prosecution.
I've had some correspondence with him.
Oh, good.
The guy who wrote the book about the Stevens.
Yes.
I told him after the election.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Why?
Because we're gonna need something to talk about.
Oh, that's true. What will there be?
It's only another couple of weeks, by the way.
I know.
Actually, not even that. It's less than 2
I'm
weeks.
going to go vote today, actually.
Oh,
I'm gonna do early voting today.
Nice job.
Now, what if Dan Sullivan comes out in favor of amnesty?
Well,
Vote again.
Maybe I just won't vote for it.
To
No,
me-
I'm joking. That was a joke.
To me, that would be the greatest thing in the world. Bonnie votes, Sullivan flips on amnesty. I would just to see her anger and frustration.
He would be so stupid to do that.
Mhm.
No. Minimum wage was bad enough.
I know.
And
What did you
Parnell,
make
too.
of Parnell's explanation of that?
I-
Didn't mind it going to $8.75. Didn't mind it going to $9.75.
I didn't like it.
After that, but it's the escalation by CPI or whatever. That's the problem.
I didn't like it, but I'm still going to vote for him because you can't agree with them on every single issue.
Well, it seemed like in the end, you kind of said what I had said, which is, there's only so much educating a politician can do. If you're dealing with people who, at a fundamental level, don't get this or that, you've got other things you want to do. That's not the only
No, but
issue
that doesn't
that's
mean
there.
you give on it, though. And he has a platform to say government shouldn't be involved in telling businesses how much to pay somebody.
Let me give you a wake-up call.
I don't care. I don't want to.
80% of people who hold office that have R's in front of their name do not understand conservative thought.
That's probably true.
They don't know who Thomas Sowell is.
Mhm.
They don't know who Walter Williams is. They don't understand the economics. They don't understand taxes deter investment.
But if you call yourself a conservative,
Hold on a minute. They basically say government should be smaller, but they don't understand why. They don't understand that when you grow the government, you shrink the individual. And I would put Sean Parnell in that category.
Mm-hmm.
He's a gazillion times better than Bill Walker, but he's never read Thomas Sowell's books on economics. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, folks. We'll be back here on Monday. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Here on Monday. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Be sure to catch them every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on Hot Talk KOAN 95.1 FM, 1080 a.m.